no reason because we
Yes, I
waited.
did.
You
Come
got
on, there
cut
were people
off.
in that
You
room.
got cut. No, you got cut off for a
No, I
good
didn't get
minute.
cut off. No, I
You
didn't get cut
did.
off. I told you we cannot service a debt of three. What I give you? What number did I give you a day that it cost to service a debt in this country?
You said 3 million,
Three what?
3 billion
Thank
a
you.
day, and
Yep.
then if he lowers the interest, and this is when you come back on, and I
Yep.
told you got cut off, then you started over, and you said because the debt is 3 billion,
A
if he
day
lowers the
to
interest
service the
rate,
debt
it will be down to 1.5 billion. That's
could
what you
be.
said when you came back on.
Exactly.
So then
Exactly.
I
What
heard
part
your
of that do you not
question.
understand?
I didn't hear your question. You came back on and explained that afterwards.
Because you couldn't answer the question.
But you didn't ask the
Dude,
question. It
he
didn't
hadn't
come
answered
out.
one
John, you
question
weren't in the
yet.
room. Okay, you weren't in the room. I was in the room. I
Yeah.
asked him the question,
So
and he
this is
couldn't
my
answer the
answer.
question.
No, no, no. This is my answer to your question you just asked. Trump is not doing this on purpose. He
Oh,
is
this. Go ahead.
he is trying something he had been thinking about for the last 30, 40 years.
Oh,
And he is, as you said, he has overplayed his hand.
that he has.
He has
I
not
would have. I
overplayed his
would have.
hand.
What I said to
Cindy's
you
wrong.
was,
Cindy's
I
wrong
would
about
have
that.
never. No, I would said
Cindy's
I
wrong.
would never
Cindy,
have
let me just
gone
make an
that
argument.
aggressive.
Can I make an
I
argument for this, Cindy?
go ahead.
Okay. There's four things that are required in order to negotiate a deal to an agreement. There's four things. You guys should remember this. You should write it down someplace. Right now, we don't have decision makers at the table. The only decision maker
100%.
right now is Trump. The rest of them have to come to the table. Number two thing you have to have is a willingness and a desire to change. China doesn't want to fucking change. So we don't have number two. Number three thing you need is you need players that will benefit from this. Okay? And number four thing, and they don't think they're going to benefit. They don't think there's a win in it for them. And number four, if you don't have the first three, you have to have number four, which is leverage. If you don't have the first three, you have to use number four. Number four is, hey, bro, we're going to tax you guys, we're going to tariff you guys, and we're going to hit you hard. And now what happens? Decision makers come to the table. Maybe they become more willing and desiring of, and then it has to have some urgency for the deal to be done. Donald Trump knows exactly what he's doing. The economists are the economist pretender. Bro, Joe
I
Biden brought
don't,
in
he's not,
8.4
Trump don't know
trillion.
what
Hold
he's
on.
doing.
Let me just finish now because we gave you plenty of time.
But you keep
Joe
cutting me
Biden
off.
added $8.4 trillion to the U.S. budget. Okay? $8.4 trillion was printed. We added 40% of all the jobs added while he was in office were fucking government jobs that taxpayers pay for. He did nothing to grow our GDP. It was flat the entire time. Unemployment went up, not down. Like, come on, man. You cannot tell me
What do
we
you mean
have
unemployment
interest
went
rates.
up?
Interest rates went from 3% to 8% on home mortgages. You can't in the last
That's
4 years,
that's
you
because of
cannot
inflation.
sell a home in
And
the
the
United
entire
States of
world
America.
didn't hate us. The entire fucking world hates us
Excuse
right
me.
now. You
We
think
can
Excuse
talk
that's
about
me.
good?
that. We could talk about that in a second.
Dr.
We're not
Hope,
talking
that's
about that
not
right
true.
now.
There are many countries coming to the table this morning.
70 countries said, okay, we want to
Okay,
work this
so
out.
last night, John, I said to you what I say. I said this can all change if they bow down and say, okay, we'll work things out with you, right? Could be a
Take your
game
big
Where's
step.
changer.
where's the list? Where's the list of countries?
And
Where's the
that's the
reference?
problem. They're saying, oh, this is happening, this is happening. Only person showed up is Israel.
That
Israel
is
ain't
not
doing no
true.
tariff
That is
deal.
not true. Vietnam showed up. India showed up. Israel showed up.
Okay.
Italy showed up.
Is there proof that they showed
Okay?
up? No,
Thailand
there's
has
no
showed
proof
up. What
they
are you
showed up.
talking about?
There's no proof they showed up. Where's
Cindy,
the proof?
Oh
and
my
Cindy,
God.
Italy can't show up. Italy is part of the EU.
They've all, it doesn't, we're
No,
not just
no,
talking
they're
about
part
the
of the EU. They
EU.
can't show
We're
up by
not just
themselves.
talking about the EU, number one, okay?
But
Yeah,
but
but
We're talking
no,
about
Cindy,
countries that, John, we talked about this last night. This is a game changer.
but Cindy,
Listen, we
countries
said,
can't show up by them. EU, Grant, can you tell her that Italy can't show up by themselves? They can't do that.
Italy absolutely can come to the table and negotiate.
Thank you.
No, they can't, guys.
Sure they can. Sure they can. They can negotiate.
No, Grant. They're part of the
Yes,
EU.
they can.
They're part of the EU.
Italy is another country not in a position to do anything because it has net migration out of its country greater than they have people there. Their economy has been failing for years. Listen a second. We're giving you guys facts. We're giving you guys facts. Why are you?
No, you're not giving me facts, guys.
Bro, I just gave you 7 sets of facts.
Tara, are you there, Tara?
I gave you 7. Don't get Tara dang gonna bail you out.
I want to get someone else in here.
There's
I
no
want to hear
facts
from Mark
here.
Days. I want to hear from Mark Days because Mark is always
guys, listen to
We
me.
have a bunch of facts.
No, you guys, listen to me. You guys cannot say that you guys are giving facts. Listen
I gave you 10
Italy
facts.
cannot.
I gave you 11
look,
facts.
Grant. Look, this is part of a podcast. We got to be factual here. Italy is part of the European Union. Okay. That's why if you look where he has the European Union listed, he doesn't have Italy listed.
Exactly. Grant doesn't know what you're talking about when he said Italy show up.
Okay.
I didn't say Italy's going to show up. I said Italy.
I said it.
Just to be clear with everyone, all members of the European Union that are the core members have subordinated their sovereignty when it comes to making trade agreements.
Thank you.
And so they cannot do that, folks.
Exactly.
They negotiate
Thank you.
So, Scott, what you're saying is there's no one from the EU.
Hey, Cindy.
They're not in conversation, right,
Cindy,
with Trump, right?
That's completely ridiculous.
Okay, you're
You
saying
guys,
that
you
the
guys
EU...
are ignoramuses. If you guys think that countries don't call the United States of America and tell Donald Trump, hey, man, I'm behind you. You guys are crazy.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
And that's all I said. All I said,
We said Italy can't come and make a deal.
Jonathan, I didn't say they were going to come and make a deal. I said they can certainly negotiate.
You said they can come and make a deal.
They can negotiate is what I said. That's the term.
That's called talking behind the EU back.
Yeah, 100%, bro. They can definitely negotiate. What are you talking about?
That's not even the point, Grant.
That's called backstab.
Last night,
I don't know.
they were saying, I don't know if it was last night or the night before, I can't remember, the plane had landed in China, and they were already there to make a deal, and Ray went bullshit in the background, and then Scott went and looked at it. He said, okay, my apologies. My apologies. There's no plane that's landed in China. Okay? The EU's not going to trust China, ever. So that's off the table.
I have a question, Cindy.
Go ahead.
Okay, for the question to work, you have to ask it.
I got to see how many people you guys confected with that bad information.
I'm still trying to figure out where
I
Biden
wanted to hear from Mark Days.
I wanted to ask a question. So
I want to hear from Mark Days.
No, let that brother rock, man. I can wait a minute because we got all the facts lined up.
I just want to ask. So are we not, like, prices are not going up right now, and are we not?
Gas prices are at $60. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what prices? You got to be specific.
No, prices are not going up.
No, I mean, like, groceries are up. Grocery prices are up.
They've been up.
Not from the last 70 days.
No, hold on. Let me ask the question. So my eggs has gone from $4.95 to $13
in the last 70 days.
Sheesh.
No, they didn't. They went down.
The egg
went down.
I
don't know what kind of gold eggs.
By the way, egg prices went up. Egg prices went up.
Guys, wait, there's a poll there, guys. There's a poll. I need to get the temperature of this room.
That's a petty poll, Jonathan. I ain't gonna lie.
It's not a petty poll. I want to see how many people actually believe that shit.
So my question is, do you guys think we're in a good predicament right now as a whole? Or do you guys think that we're slightly suffering now? That was my question. I'm
going to answer that.
See, this guy,
you are slightly suffering right now,
Cindy,
and the suffering could get worse before it gets better.
But we're getting away from facts now.
Well, he asked the question.
You guys cannot.
Well, I asked a question, so I wanted to know because
suffering.
Are
you suffering, sir? Are you suffering? Did you suffer today?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, from what?
The stock market, then.
No, he didn't suffer from the stock market. He's not
And there's
invested in the
nothing
stock
else.
market.
And there's
I'm
nothing
suffering
else.
from grocery prices, gas prices,
Yeah.
right?
Gas prices are
Did you
down.
And
get
hold
gas
on, and
He
today?
hold.
said I
Oh,
suffer from
yes, I
paying my
did.
own
I
prices.
did. I
Gas
did.
prices are down,
Good.
So
buddy.
Good.
Okay,
I'm
hold
being.
on real
So
quick. Can I ask him a question because this is horrible for the listener?
He
Can I
suffered
ask
from
this
paying
gentleman a
bills.
question? Let me ask this brother a question. Acapello, let me ask you a
Yes, sir.
question, brother. Were we not suffering from high grocery prices and high gas prices at the end and during and in the middle of the previous administration? Is this brand new or has it been happening to us already, my brother?
Well, brand new for me. I've never paid $13 in for eggs since the
Brother,
new
that's not what I'm
since
asking. Answer
January
the question,
20th.
brother. Answer the question directly. Have you paid more in the previous administration, and is it continuing? Have you? What did it start in the previous administration, brother?
No,
When did it start in your estimation?
January 25th.
Okay, you're not a
No,
real human.
Yikes.
Something's
no,
wrong
that's
here.
not
No,
That
I'm
guy's
true.
not
being I'm being
real.
one. I'm telling you. I'm just telling you. You asked the question. I'm telling you the honest truth.
All right, John, why
Acapella,
don't
do
you
you
help
buy
him?
from the same
John, why don't
grocery
you help him
store?
with eggs?
Hang on,
Say it
hang on.
again.
Do you
I
buy
buy
from
from.
the same grocery store?
Yes.
Okay, so that same grocery store that you've been buying for 4 years, all of a sudden in the last 70 days, egg prices doubled?
Not in the last 70 days.
When
What
did
you
they
you
Let me
start
let
said
me
going up?
let me ask you this, Acapello. Did you purchase the
January
18? Hold
25th.
on, brother. Did
I
you
started
purchase the
noticing.
18 pack or the 36 pack? Because there could be a reason for this. Maybe you were buying 18 before, and now you're buying 36. Because I'm not following you, my brother. What happened?
I'm usually buying the 18 pack.
And now you're buying 36 because you want
Yeah.
to
Did you
stock up,
accidentally
right?
buy a bigger dozen?
No, I'm still buying the 18 pack.
And man, this boy is cap, man. Ain't no
Yeah.
18 pack,
So
15
Well,
bucks,
Acapello,
no.
I
man.
would
What are we
just
Hey,
say
hey,
talking
listen,
about?
listen.
go to
I'm just,
another
I'm
store.
just,
Hey,
you,
one second, one
you,
second. I want,
hey, you.
1 second, because those prices actually started going up in January of 2020. Yeah, 2020. Okay, I mean March of 2020. Okay, that's when prices started
Huh?
going up. Okay, and they continue to go up. March of 2020, and so but it was COVID and it's supply it was supply. We had a supply chain issue back then, and that was during the Trump administration. But to be fair, COVID wasn't in play there, and we had a supply chain issue. That's when we started seeing higher prices for everything. So, yeah, sometimes if you just be honest, man, you answer the question honestly, and get the same effect that you're trying to get, or somewhat of the effect you're trying to get by, I think, answering dishonestly when you say January 25th. I just
Hey,
want to
Jonathan.
call you out on
Hey,
that.
Yeah, and can I just put
Okay.
something out there? I don't
All
want to
right.
cut the brother off who is about to speak. Go ahead, man, because I don't want to commandeer the mic. Go ahead. Okay, that brother had nothing to say. Can we just fact check a couple things real quick, JB? Right? We know that in the top of 2022, we had consecutive quarters of negative GDP. I believe it was two. We only need three for an actual definition of recession. Out of the following three
Actually, two
quarters,
bad quarters.
two bad quarters are
Yep.
is a recession. Okay,
Yep.
so two consecutive negative GDP quarters causes a recession, which they never labeled it as a recession, which was a scam to me. We also know that many of the jobs that came under Biden were recovered jobs that were lost during the pandemic. Therefore, he didn't create any new jobs. They were simply recovered from before, and the unemployment rate was still quite high. We also know that workers lost an average of over $4,000 in real wages during his inflation crisis. We also know that inflation, we're still suffering from it. And at the height of the Bidenomics era, it was absolutely unbearable. We may see a spike. I don't know if it's going to come down, but we know that what we're paying now is an effect of what happened during his administration. We also know that the Inflation Reduction Act was a scam. We also know that the crap they were telling us about China with the wind and the solar and the batteries and all this America infrastructure nonsense. So if we keep it real about Bidenomics, he touted a bunch of things that were not substantiated. And if you, in fact, I believe it's the budget.house.gov, you can find this information. They actually fact checked all the positive growth that he touted and found that many of his statements were found to be untrue. So we can't cap and say that Trump didn't inherit a bad economy from Biden. The economy was bad. What's wrong with just telling the truth about that? I don't understand why that's a point of
Are you
contention.
serious?
And the economy is always bad. Let's be real, no matter who the president is. But I'm just curious, like, can nobody really fix this shit, man? We so deep down, if we really want to be honest. Like, this 36
I agree.
trillion in debt, we really 500 trillion something in debt when you add in all the promises the government really gave you. But I'm curious, like, how do you guys think that we avoid falling into a depression? You know, last time we did this in this country, you know, with the tariffs, we ended into a depression right after. So how do we avoid? Because history always repeats itself, right? So how do we avoid this the third time from going into oppression? Just again for the
Well,
last two
Kazi,
times we
what you
raised
just
tariffs.
heard is Mark Day speaking from the last 4 years, factually, which no one can refute because those are government of his own administration facts and statistics. So when you ask how do we not go into a Great Depression, and even TC, even though he's capped sometimes, he says you got to shock the system and reset it. We're
Yeah.
on a downward spiral of our debt, and when we have interest on our debt at a $37 trillion rate, there's no way to recover
No,
from it, and
and
you
we really
can't
don't
print
have.
enough money. The only thing you're going to do is devalue the currency. So you have to find a way to get control
So,
See,
of
that's
so,
the
what,
something that's a
so we're
but see,
downward
that's
deferring to
the
TC
problem.
spiral,
now.
But look, we
reset,
really
and
don't
shock.
have. We really don't
Yeah,
have
wait,
37 trillion.
KC asked a question, Storm, and he was real. His question was a legitimate question. You know, the last time, 2 times we did this, we ended up in a depression. He asked a real legitimate question, and no
So
one, no, first of all, no one wanted to acknowledge the question, okay, and then you wanted to speak around it. So
I just
we have,
answered it, Jonathan.
wait, hold up. We have 2 times that we did this in history. Both times it ended in a depression. Okay.
What happened after the Depression?
Wait. I want to know when did we end up in two depressions?
They blame somebody else.
When are the two times we ended in a depression?
1929, 1930.
And I
We
think
had
that's
that.
how I know
no,
it's
no, no,
18,
no.
18
There's
Yeah.
We had two depressions
So,
in 2 years.
I'm sure. Skull. You want to jump in, Skull?
yeah. Let's go ahead here. Yeah. So there was a depression also after the 1830 tariffs, but I would like to say that depressions were much more common in the 1800s because overall productivity was much lower in the 1800s. We weren't an industrialized society. We were a very different society. Again, a little bit of echo here. But we were a very different society back then. So depressions were not completely uncommon. And yes, there were depressions that followed the 1830 tariffs. But you also had depressions later in the 1800s that were not related to tariffs at all. Then you had the 1929 downturn, followed by the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, which exacerbated what was already a market sell-off. Right. So, I want to just take a moment here and say this. What we're seeing right now, the closest parallels we have, right, is the Great Depression. I would like to point out there are some serious differences here.
This is not even slightly comparable to the Great Depression.
Well, and that's what I'm getting to, Grant. I'd like to
Unemployment
point out a
numbers.
few differences here.
1 out of 4 people were unemployed during the Great Depression.
Yes, and
Okay. What percentage of the public is employed today?
Right, we've got like 96% employment. Well,
Exactly.
97.
We have an upper
But
middle class
they lie about.
in this country that did not exist during the Great
Yeah,
Depression.
but they lie
You
about.
Okay,
should
but
not even make. I can't believe this, Skull. You're too intelligent to even.
Grant, he was
Can we
actually.
just
One second, one mic,
I'm trying to
one mic,
answer.
guys, one mic. Grant, he was actually agreeing. He's going to say something that you agree with. You cut him off, okay? He was actually, your point, going with you, and you cut him off, and he said you can't believe him.
He'll still agree with me even after I cut him off because I'm right.
This motherfucker, this guy.
Hey, Jonathan, can I point out something unfair?
Please.
Now, there was earlier somebody, I believe it might have even been you, JB, spoke about maintaining the integrity of disseminating factual information for the purpose of the podcast. Now, someone just stated that the 1930 tariffs actually caused the Great Depression, which Scald had to come in and correct and let people know it deepened the Great Depression that actually had started in 1929. Why? How
Okay,
come no one
Mark,
corrected that?
shut it down, buddy. That's literally what I freaking said. Go ahead and play
Bro,
that.
you're a moron
No.
because I was
No,
actually agreeing with you.
Skull. He agreed with you. The fuck y'all doing?
No. You see
Yeah,
how
what
you
the
see how
fuck are you
stupid you
doing,
see
Mark?
That's
Jonathan.
crazy.
Jonathan,
Shut it,
you
buddy.
see how stupid
Shut
people
it.
are.
No,
Shut it.
Mark, you know
Skull.
what that is, Mark?
One mic,
You
guys.
so ready to
Mark,
shoot back?
Okay, hold on, guys. Here's the deal. Skull,
See how stupid
that's a
people are.
microaggression.
Go ahead.
So there you go. Skull, he was agreeing with you. Okay, he said that you had to come in and with the correct information. Is what he said. All right, that's what he said, guys.
But do you see how stupid people are? They're so thirsty to disagree with particular
That's what
people
Grant
that they
just
just
did.
jump off mic and do something stupid, and he
No.
wasn't even listening. What a moron to go against the person who's supporting your point.
It's because they're liberals, man. It's that
These guys are brainless, man. What's wrong with these dudes?
You said I said incorrect information.
No, he did
no,
not
I didn't,
say that.
moron. I did not say that.
No, he didn't. Well, no, I want to correct you.
I said you corrected the incorrect information.
What he said was, for the integrity of the podcast, you know how we spoke about the integrity of the podcast. He said KZ came off with incorrect information and said that it caused it, and you had to come and correct him and say that it exacerbated it. It didn't cause it. That's what he said.
I'm sorry. I misheard entirely. My apologies, Mark. I thought you said
because you're a bozo. You just was finding a reason to say something stupid. I guess particularly to me. So listen better. But how come no one addressed that? How come no one jumped off mic and got on whoever said that? Hey, we got to stop everything. Why?
One second. I'll address that real quick, guys. We did. Skulls, and he jumped off and he corrected it. That's what he did. That's what we do. It was
I was waiting on you, JB.
He's a bozo.
I was waiting
Mark.
on you.
Mark, he's a bozo.
I was waiting on you, man.
He's a
bozo.
Yo, he's a bozo, Mark. That's exactly what happened. You need to listen better, Mark.
Okay, Jonathan.
Listen, man, you got it.
Jonathan,
Hey, yo.
I'm getting angry.
My final two questions. My final two questions, and then I'm out of here. My first question.
But hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on.
Yeah, why are you still talking, Acapello?
How you get that many questions?
Just do one question.
No, I just got.
Hey, we need to put acapella. We need to turn acapella to an instrumental. We need to turn it to an instrumental.
He need to go with the rhythm.
Don't be a bozo, man.
We ain't taking no more.
You can't come in here freestyling.
Hey guys, look, check it out though. Hey,
Who let him come in here and freestyle and shit?
Look, this is crazy. So I'm just curious. Like I said, I'm really not I'm not like a politic guy for real. You know, I just do what I do. You know, in development. But one thing I was watching a documentary the other night, and one thing I noticed, I talked to a lot of our investors and lenders, and one thing that seems kind of be similar to the 1930s, right, is we have a housing crisis, right? We have a huge gap disparity in this country. And then, the stock market, basically just crashed. And those are the same similarities that happened back almost 100 years ago. And I don't really see, how this is not the same. History, one thing about history, it always repeats itself. And that's what we basically falling into, if we keep doing what we're doing here. And I also think this is tied to something greater, too. If you look back on history, I think this is really tied to the changing world order. And I think it might be something out there actually going on as well too, with America trying to maintain power, right? Every kind of 250 years, the power kind of changes hand, right? It was the Dutch, a few hundred years ago, to the British, then we took over and we've kind of been out power, for this last little bit of, however long. And now, you have China that's on the rise while we're declining here in America. So I also think this is something greater in trying to also maintain our world power. But again, just history kind of shows itself. Every 250 years, stuff starts, countries change power. And I think, again, it's a lot of that stuff going on behind the scene that we might be distracted about that's really going on a greater, level. And I know we talk a lot about the dollar crashing a lot. And again, I don't really.
Nobody's mentioned that one time in here tonight. What are you talking about?
But no, I'm just saying with everything that was going on, talking about how this is similar to a depression, Grant. And Grant, I mess with you. I haven't, got your book on the web form.
China is in a worse place than we are.
But I think China.
I think recession is a better word.
They
Casey,
measure.
can I offer something?
Hold on, right quick. Hold on.
One second, Casey. I'll say something, Casey.
Can you hear from the British?
Yeah. Wait. Before we go to
Is
the
that Gus?
1 second. Before we go to the British, I want to.
Jonathan, I have a question.
But hold on. This last thing I want to say, guys.
Casey,
I'm gonna be
quiet.
quiet.
Hold on. Well, 1 second. I gotta point something out, Casey. You were doing good until when Grant came off mic and Grant like fuck you said you like you know I'm your boy, right, Grant? I fuck with you. I got your book.
No.
Yeah, I got your book. I got the autograph. I got your book.
Check it out.
I got your
And I got your book and you signed it.
I even got your book was crazy.
You see that, JB? I got your book.
But let's
JB, you said I got your book and you signed it and I read it. I got 2 books.
I read it.
No, I said I fuck with you, Grant. You know my.
He said I still fucking agree.
Can I say something, Jonathan?
Hey, but listen, hold on. This last thing I'm gonna say too, though. But look, so a country is made
save yourself,
man. On 8 different strengths, right? You know, the value of its currency, right? Education, military, right? The competitiveness in the market, cost of goods, right? All that different things that a country is measured on. And I really think in America, you know, again, I think it's something maybe larger going on.
What are the other 4 things, Kazi?
It's crazy. So, again, it's education, military, currency, cost of goods, right? The competitiveness, the global markets. It's it's a few of the things I may be missing. I can't think off the top of my head, but I know every country is measured in 8 strengths. And what I've been noticing out there, just from what I'm following, China has really been on the rise. And we have really been declining in America, and we need to really get back to what really made this country great. Whatever that really is, I don't even know. You know, for instance, I'm only 35. I really don't know, but all I know that we need to try to maintain power and control. What we need to control.
He's right.
Hey, can I answer something? Can I answer something from real quick? And I just offer something brief.
And then Mark, when you're done, I want to ask a question.
For sure. The only reason why, Casey, I think that we're not in dire straits as bad as we were almost 100 years ago, 95 years ago, is because technologically, militarily, we're way stronger and way more advanced than we were back then. And we have infrastructure. We have the ability to take on certain facets of manufacturing. Many of the goods that get tariffed, that we get tariffed on importing, we don't even need in the United States of America. We could survive without it. So things have changed, and if we just let it play out, we might be able to see some positive out of it. You know what I mean?
Changed. Why do we have this huge wealth gap, though? The gap is even greater than it is today than it was.
Yeah, but that's always been, brother. That's always been, and that's never going to change.
But there isn't one singular factor for that. That is not how the wealth gap works. And the quickest way to shrink it is actually entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Hey guys, let's go to Grant. 1 second, we're gonna go to Grant. Grant been waiting. One second, I guess Grant.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, we're gonna go to Grant. Grace been waiting. KZ, I feel for you, bro. You sold all the way out. You started saying "Make America Great Again" at the end and everything. He said "Make America Great Again" at the end and everything.
He said, "I got your book, Make America Great Again." My man, KZ.
Okay, y'all done?
Good, GC.
Hey, Grant.
Hey, what's up, chat? Well, 2 things. One is Yvonne's down there saying I'm
put
bad
on a shirt, Uncle G. Put on a shirt.
Wait a minute.
Yvonne's saying I'm bad for the room, Jonathan. So maybe you need to handle her tomorrow when she comes and gossips all her bullshit to you and complains and cries and gets on her knees. Number 2, I did not hear one fact. I did not hear one fact from one person on the other side about how Joe Biden had a great economy. Not one fact.
All been refuted. I've refuted them all, line by line. Y'all need some support.
I ain't gonna lie. He helped with the affordable housing gaps.
I have a fact. The World Economist said it was a great economy. And he cover page of the World Economist when Biden left said it was a great economy. But in terms of suffering, I have been suffering all day. The Senate, you guys broke our Constitution for the first time that I've seen in my entire year in politics. The Senate decided to send opposed President Trump, and your guy in the House did not let the House make a decision. That was a violation of our Constitution, and I've been suffering all day about it. Jonathan knows I bugged the shit out of him. Why is Trump allowing this to happen? How come our Constitution is being broken, Grant?
So
He needs
can
to
I
go to
I'm
just quickly
prison.
say?
suffering by
Can I
how
just
loud
quickly
that
say
mic is.
something?
I'm suffering.
Can I quickly just say something, right?
Send him to prison.
So
Even
as a
even with even with
so,
how loud it is, Mark, I still
listen,
didn't
relax,
understand.
relax.
Loud
So
and
as a
wrong. Hey, Gus.
Let's
how you
go,
doing, man?
Augustus.
So as a
If
person who's
anybody understood
observing,
a word
One mic
Hope
on Gus,
said,
guys. One mic on Gus.
I do
as a
not know
person who's
what
a,
Hope said.
One mic on Augustus, man. He
as a
about to come in.
person,
Hold on,
as
one
a
second,
person.
Sean. 1 second,
I
Gus.
want to know what Hope
Hey,
said.
hey, 1 second,
Hope
Grant.
just finished speaking, and I want her to start from the beginning because I didn't understand a word of it.
Don't start that,
Grant,
Grant.
Grant,
No,
Grant. No,
Uncle
you
G,
don't.
no,
No, you don't.
Turn
no.
it
No,
down.
Get
you
out of there,
don't,
Grant.
friend.
Get
One
out.
mic,
No,
guys.
you don't. Get out the
Hey,
car.
4 mics.
One mic on
Grant, get out the
Augustus,
car.
guys. One mic on him because he's about to hit us with this Trump bullshit anyway. Go ahead, Augustus.
Hey, listen, go and brush your teeth, right? I can smell the bullshit from here. The thing is, right, what I don't seem to
Ooh.
understand, right, is how people are not seeing exactly what Trump is doing. You have to understand that for the rest of the world, especially the European Union, they've been taking the piss out of America. It is true, America has the largest economy. You purchase everybody's shit. And America was great when America was producing stuff. I remember a time, I'm old enough, where I looked at my fucking, I think, Levi jeans, shout out to the Jews, and they were made in America, right? Maybe they're still made in America. I remember the VCR at a point was made in America. My VCR, if I had it today, would be Japanese.
Yeah, we
Come
don't
on.
use those
What
no more.
happened? What happened?
You
I
ended
mean,
with a VCR.
Sorry,
That's
no,
not a
he hit
good.
me. He hit me.
That's not it.
He hit me with a co-host. So I'll keep it short, right? If you're not backing your president today, you have to be, and you still got all of these opinions. You have to be the smartest, dumbest people on the planet. Because right now, the people in Europe, we know we've been taking the piss out of America. I'm not even in Europe anymore. I left Europe. I left England. England is a fucking colonized country. It's colonized, right? I'm in Africa right now because fuck that shit, right? I would have been in America because I can see that America is about to, if it works, it's about to become the most powerful nation ever, right? The individual who spoke before, Yazi or some shit, Kazi or some, there was a 250-year cycle that a civilization lasts for, right? Right now, you don't understand that Trump, what he's doing is destroying Davos's idea of a great reset to the point where the leader, Klaus Schwab, literally just stepped down from the WEF. The leader of my so-called country, England, he said the neoliberal world order is fucking over. Do you understand what Trump has done? Right? He's caught all of these people who were divesting from America or robbing the resources of America. He's resetting the economy that should have already crashed during Biden, but we had to apparently redefine what a fucking economy is, like a woman, right?
Facts.
And what he's done is said, well, you know what? F the rich, because it's the Democrats who are really the party of the billionaires. Because I mean, shout out to Kamala Harris and the money that she raised in such a short period of time. You could look into what what's his name, Keith O'Neill, is that his name? Has been doing, where he's been able to show that they've been funneling money through either US aid or these rich. Anyway, long story short, it's the Democrats who are the party of the rich. Trump right now is crashing the economy so as to reset it and reset global trade so that American companies go back to America and they start producing in America, hiring Americans, which is why he's kicking out all of the people who are illegal to America. Oh, fuck my thing. Right. So that people who live in America don't have to pay as much fucking tax. In fact, you don't even have such a big government, so you're not paying for a massive government. So America itself can enjoy more prosperity, have more wealth, have more money in the pocket, so that you can purchase more shit. I don't understand how you don't get it. And of course, like you said, there's going to be a little bit of pain. Right now, America, if he can do what he's doing, is about to become the richest fucking nation on the planet. And if you're pushing back against that, you must not like the country. Fuck off to Canada. I'll take your place. There are people that are dying to get there. The immigrants that are there dying to be there. And people are complaining about some. It's been what, a couple of days, mate. He's been in for a couple of weeks, bruh. Let the man work. Let him cook. Don't be upset, bro. But you're letting the left wing CIA funded fucking liberal crazy crackpot media. And I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
I
anybody
fund
who's
it.
on the left. One second. You could be liberal, that's fine, right? Classic liberals, you're gangster. Most of the people in Trump's administration are classic liberals. You might actually recognize, right? Classical liberals. What I'm saying is, don't let them gaslight you. Don't let them get you to the point where you start fighting people who who actually love your country, and you can't see that the rest of the world right now is running to make a deal with Trump because they've been taking the fucking piss. And so I don't understand how you don't back the person who has the fucking cojones to say to people, you know what, fuck the WEF, fuck the neoliberal world order, fuck the wars that you're trying to get us into. Let's reset, come to the table. But you know what? I'm gonna make you beg because you've been taking the fucking piss. And the funny thing, and I land here, Trump's been talking about this for the past 30, 40 years. I remember he said it to Oprah, and I was saying this during the Trump administration, round one, and nobody was listening because everybody was on their Trump derangement shit. Bro, you need to understand what he's doing. The man knows what he's talking about. It's very simple. It's like an obvious thing, and people who are not suffering from this syndrome can see it. People like myself. That's it. Shout out to you, Debate the News, man. It's good to hear you people, man.
It's good to have
that
you
boy
back,
cooked.
man.
Everything that he said
Damn
is
right.
very, very true. But
America.
here's the problem that I have with manufacturing here. Where are we going to get these people to come to work? Because you know
American
that Americans
citizens.
are lazy.
No,
and
that's
this next generation might be stepping up to the plate. These 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds have a different, I'll use the word, I say brain, a different mindset. But you still need those workers.
We'll get them, Cindy. We'll get them.
Grant, tell me where we're going to pull these workers
Cindy, we'll
from.
get them. We just like the manufacturing. You keep saying, well, he should have built the manufacturing first. No, he should be doing exactly what he's doing now because they're probably going to build the manufacturing. And we will, when there's opportunity, people will fill the seats. But we haven't had that, Cindy, in so long. We need to build here again. And people will go to work. People will see opportunities. Look, I mean,
hey, listen, from your mouth to God's ears. But right now, we have a lot of kids that just don't want to work and they don't have the tenacity. It's a weak generation of men that I'll be the mother of the weak generation of men. No, it
No
isn't.
21-year-old
That's not true.
We got
That
a weak
is not
generation
true.
of men. Yes, we do.
That's not true. That's not true at all.
I gotta be honest,
Maybe
the
in
young
your
girls
purview,
are coming up stronger than the
if y'all
guys.
can't
that's
find
not true.
if y'all
That's
can't
not
find
true.
a 25-year-old kid that wants to work, it's because you're not actually looking for that kid.
Right. There are plenty of kids
I'm
that
in
want to work.
construction. I'm looking for them every day.
Young men in particular that want to work. And I'll tell you that the answer is very simple. If you want people to come to a job, you simply pay them commensurate to the work that you want them to do. People are motivated by money and they want to be able to sustain their lifestyle and their family and not have to worry about where their food and money is coming from. It's not rocket science. I don't get it.
Hold on for a second. I gotta address a couple points.
Cindy's trying to hire people out of that libtoid Boston.
Hold on.
Yeah, well, I don't know what Cindy's going through. She's seeing a different thing. She lives in her own world. You know what I'm saying?
Well, my world,
you guys are bypassing. You guys are bypassing a very critical fact.
Nobody wants to work for Cindy, is what the problem is.
Go ahead, Luis.
Listen, I'm losing guys left and right out here right now. So.
Yeah, guys, go ahead, Luis. Guys, and Luis is filming. He's recording his first episode of the Fuck Trump podcast on Wednesday here on Chatter, guys. So go ahead, Luis.
Oh, I'll be there, Luis. I want to hear
that. Me too, Luis. I'm down.
I'm definitely going to come to that whatever that's going to be.
Exactly. So there's a couple points that I have to highlight.
No, but not if Yvonne's going to be there.
Yeah. So Augustus, you mentioned that America will be the wealthiest country in the world. There isn't one other country.
Most powerful, wealthiest country. Yes.
Hold on for a second. It's not if it works out. There is no greater country that produces a higher GDP than America in all of the world. China comes close second, but there is no greater country that currently, even in Biden's administration, created a higher GDP than America, point blank period. There is no other country that has a better military force, a better naval force than America, point blank period. We already are the strongest. We already are the wealthiest.
Don't overuse that point break period thing. Don't overuse it.
Right. This is wilding out.
Especially when you do your new podcast.
Come on, we're in the Luis sermon. Let's go, Luis. Give us the sermon.
Now the point
I feel like we're getting a sermon, don't you, Storm?
I do.
Well, that means I'm just giving you the Holy Spirit of truth because y'all been wilding out in here.
You speak like a priest. Let's go.
Yeah, that's crazy. But then for you to say that the movements that he's making is to bring back manufacturing and that we need more manufacturing in
That's right.
America.
That's right.
You guys aren't even paying attention that the average income and the average salary of a factory worker in America is $33,000. What the fuck kind of life can you live in America with $33,000 a year?
So
You're
I
gonna
hear
have
what
to
I hear
have
what
two or three
You're
jobs in order to
assuming
cover
you're
your
assuming
average
the
income.
factory jobs are going to be paying 33,000.
right,
Right now
exactly.
in
This is
America,
By the way,
right now in America,
you're
they pay
assuming
on
that there's
average
going to be
but
people in
Luis,
the
$16
factories.
and
Grant,
Excuse
Grant,
me.
Grant,
Excuse
one
me.
hold on
second,
for a
You're
Grant,
second.
Grant,
assuming that it's
Hold
going to be
on for a
people in the
second.
factories.
Listen,
Grant, one second.
you
This
talk
so
about
I
bringing
understand what you.
manufacturing back to America. The
Yeah, I
average
said that.
income is about
Yeah, but Luis, why
$16.15.
is that? But why is that? You understand that by making that statement, you're actually exposing that you don't understand fully what you're talking about. You understand that, right?
That's
Because
not
You
new,
okay?
bro.
Hold
That's
on for
not
a
new. All you
second.
got to do is come to this room
and
and you'll
I
hear
don't
me
mean that
use the opposing
disrespectfully, and
self-concept.
Yeah, yeah.
because I'm
Hold on
just
for a second.
I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that friendly as a brother. You don't
I got you.
because
Listen,
I see what
you
you're saying,
talking
bro.
about as a brother. You mentioned and bloviated a bunch of overstated truths and didn't even understand that you were pointing out what we already are, right? Because you have this glitz and glamour version of what you think he's doing, not realizing he's not really doing shit to help
Okay,
America. He's
okay, got
not.
it. I understand.
He's
Okay, so
not.
if this is, do you want me to stay on mute while you insult me, or
I
can I
didn't
respond?
insult you. I,
Ah, okay,
I, I addressed your point. There's a difference between commenting on your
I
point
understand.
and actually
I
coming at
got you.
you. I'm not
Thank you,
talking
bro.
about your education.
And
I'm not talking
I
about your
appreciate.
perspective.
I
Like
appreciate
I'm
that.
addressing your point.
All right, so I hear what you're saying. Thanks for the feedback. I violently disagree. Right. So the reason that people are making 33 grand, if you've done a ChatGPT search and you found that that's the average, I get it. I understand, right? But you have to only listen to the workers, to the individuals in the auto industry right now who are excited about this, who have been advocating for the very same thing, right? You only have to listen to those people. Think about it for a second. If a company produces, say, 100 products, and say 50 of those products are sold every year, then the company can only afford to pay its workers X amount of money. But then that's probably because the competition is producing 1,000 products overseas, and the products are cheaper. Got it. If there are barriers in place, what are we calling them? Fuck, what are they called? The tariffs in place, right? It's going to force manufacturing back to America, and thus Americans are more likely to pay for American-produced goods, right? You can open more factories so there are more people producing the goods. And because there is a higher demand for the goods because they're made in America and they're cheaper as a consequence of purchasing them from outside of your country, you're going to have more people buying the shit, which means you can afford to pay your people more fucking money. That's just how it works. So if you can bring manufacturing back,
Yeah, I don't think that's
obviously,
how it
then
works.
bro, that's
That's not how
exactly
it
how it
works,
works,
bro.
bro. That's exactly how it works. That's
That's
exactly how
literally
fucking
not how it works.
bro.
That's
That's
not how it
exactly
works.
how
The
business works,
industrial
That's
bro.
not how it works.
Oh
revolution
my god.
literally
Are you?
changed.
Oh my god. You people are on some fucking crack
AI
cocaine
is
that I've
about to
never
be
heard.
in factories, so
Then,
you're
bro,
And
bro,
that's
robotics.
about to
And
change
robotics.
everything.
you're adding extra to what I'm talking about. What he's talking about. Okay.
No,
Don't
you
start adding.
started by
One
talking about
second.
more
One second. Relax
jobs.
yourself.
That's what you
Relax
started
yourself.
with.
Relax yourself, because you're not right. You're trying to add some extra sauce to what I'm not cooking, bro. We're not talking about AI. We're talking about what he's talking about.
You
We're talking
talk
about
about more
currently
jobs.
right now,
That's
33
that's
grand
where
or
we
whatever.
started.
Bro, look, whatever. If you don't understand basically that if there are more people demanding your product and you can sell your product, then of course you can afford to pay people a living wage. And if nobody's demanding your fucking product, you're probably going to go out of business. If you don't understand that, get off the internet and go and fucking get an education, bro, because that's basic fucking business, bro. What I'm trying to say to you is, even with the AI thing, more people still need to be trained up to be able to understand how to utilize the robotics, or to use the in the understanding of how to utilize the robotics that will come into play in their factories. So you're still going to have these technicians who are still going to be paid a high amount of money. The reason that AI is such an important thing is because it allows for you to then produce the widgets or the small parts of these that goes into these building these machines that
And all
normally
those people
China
you talking about are fired now.
that normally China pays a fucking slave wage to. So if we can't understand these little things and how all these little things kind of filter in to make a nice big gumbo, then stop talking about the thing that you done. You don't get it. And it's not that I'm even a sycophant for Trump. I'm a Trump supporter, but we don't support everything that he fucking does, bro. We can hold him to account. We can call him out. I don't know if you've been on X lately, bro. Like, we call that motherfucker out on everything, bro. Right? And because he's trying to seek everybody's favor, he listens. You understand? So when you keep making these things about being a Trump supporter, again, you're only exposing that you don't know what you're talking about, bro. Because we're not his fucking cheerleaders. We
Hey,
hold his
Saint,
feet to the
Saint,
fire, bro. And I'm not even American.
Saint,
Jesus.
Saint, you need to understand that some of these people, all they want to do is eat at the table. They don't want to contribute to the meal.
They don't want to build it. They don't want to cook the meal. They don't want to fucking.
They don't
They
want to
want
cook. They
everything
don't want to
manufactured in
clean up.
China,
By the
bro.
way, hey, they won't even give a good review.
Anyway, it's been fun.
Oh yeah. So that was great. So there's some parts you're correct on. Some
Thank you, Skull.
Some parts a little dicey.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks, I appreciate that.
Here's what you're right on, which is manufacturing in general pays more than retail jobs, and they pay more than service industry jobs. They pay about 13% more. And it's actually a manufacturing index that tracks this. It's one of the reasons manufacturing jobs are pretty attractive. Now, automotive jobs pay even more than average manufacturing jobs. It's a very specialized industry, right? However,
but Skull, where were you when somebody was saying that these manufacturing jobs wouldn't pay anything? Why didn't you step up then and tell them they're lying?
Because everybody was going back and forth. So now I'm trying
no,
to.
Cindy was saying, "Are they gonna work hard?" That's what that was
we
she
were
saying.
given a sermon by Brother Luis. Come on, man.
Let me just
Cindy
finish
saying, "Are
this.
they gonna work hard?"
And furthermore, automotive jobs are wait a minute. Furthermore, automotive jobs are manufacturing jobs. By the way,
Thank you.
They're literally. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm
They're
talking
lost.
about.
They're
Right?
lost. I'm
And
just listening
so,
to the rhetoric.
if you allow me to finish here, guys, I'll land just in a second here. I will not be as long-winded as the man that was just speaking. But yes, automotive is a subset of manufacturing. It's even more higher paid than general manufacturing. Another thing, semiconductors, much more higher paid, right? Just like automotive. Guess what? That's a subset of manufacturing that's specialized skills. However, and this is where things get dicey, if you look at low end goods, right, like a plastic toy that we have made in China, if you look at the salary at a plastic blow mold factory, you're going to be a little disappointed, folks. And so, I think I agree. I want to bring back good manufacturing jobs.
What are we be disappointed by the bobble?
Well, you're going to be disappointed by how little that American is going to get paid to make that, because there's just not a lot of money in that deal. There's not a lot of money in the end product, right?
Well, good. Then we'll figure out. This is what America does best. They'll quit making fucking baubles that nobody wants and nobody makes money on, and we'll make fucking robots.
Shout it out, bro. Exactly. Man, it's mad,
You guys always think with what is here now. You never think about the future.
Well, what I'm saying is we should be strategic in what kind of manufacturing jobs we bring back here. I mean, we should try to bring back the highest value, the highest paying. We should bring back industries that we know are good. Automotive, semiconductor, right?
Skull,
If it's
is that
cheap
Skull?
shit, leave it over.
Is that you say your name? Skull.
Me.
So shout out to you, mate. So a lot of people have this. So listen, I'm an Africa first type individual. I'm British born Nigerian, right? I believe in the decolonization of the continent of Africa. I say get those fucking Europeans out, right? Shout out to the white people. That's not slight you, right? And I say that not because I hate white people. I love white people. Some of my best friends are white, right? Some of my ex-girlfriends are white. Italiano, Hispaniola, from France. Great girls, like loves of my life, right? It's not about that. What it is about Nigeria first or Africa first. Now again, it's not because I hate Americans, it's not because I hate Europeans, it's not because I hate the Asians, it's because I'm sick of seeing my people fucking under the boot of the colonizers, the French, the Portuguese. Right now I'm in Cape Verde, right? It's a collection of 10 islands just off the west coast of Senegal. This is the most fucking gangster place I've ever lived. The sun is shining, rent is cheap, the food is beautiful. The women are I'm not even gonna say that. The women are beautiful. I was gonna throw out a proper old school Gus jib, right? But what I'm trying to say to you, life is good, right? Now I'm seeing right now this slow movement towards people gaining a sense of their national pride, right? But on the global stage. But what I also see is Americans are told that if they love their country, they're racist. If they're white and they love their flag, they're white nationalists. And it's like, but that same shit's happening in Europe. It's happening in France. It's happening in Ireland. It's happening in England. It's happening in Spain.
When you say the same shit, what's the same shit?
But that white people are being told that if they love their country, that they're fucking racist.
What are you
And it's
talking about?
interesting because it's also happening in Africa.
Black people can't be racist, man.
But it's happening in South Africa, right? It's happening in fucking Nigeria. It's happening in because right now we're seeing Africa. If you want to kick out the Chinese who are literally coming in, doing the most despicable things to our women and taking our land, you're somehow racist, and people have had enough of it. Now the reason I'm saying this is, right now, we are going through the greatest freaking change because of the
I love your accent. I love your accent, but the podcast is only going to hear you.
Right now, we're going through the great. I don't even know what that means, bro. Right now, we're going through the greatest changeover.
It means it's being recorded for a podcast, so we got to land.
Okay, cool. Right now, we're going through the largest changeover, right? And what people are missing, and I'm going to land here. What people are missing is that in this idea of everything being racist, and the idea of everything being bad if you're a nationalist, right? You're missing the capacity to stand in your own fucking power and your own sovereignty. If you go to war with China...
Okay, you got to land it now, bro. Listen. Guys, you're listening to Debate the News, the greatest podcast on Apple iTunes. Make sure you download several copies and listen to it tomorrow with your friends so they can see that you are a degenerate that spends his late nights wasting their time listening to a bunch of bullshit.
That's right.
Also, download the Chatter app because you could actually be part of the degenerate descaling program that we have here. Thank you for listening. And by the way, we're accepting sponsors at $2,500 a month starting to give you a big shout out to you and your company. Viewership is increasing night over night. By the way, we have listeners from, obviously, the Nigerian man that was just in here talking about white people. And then we also have, we have Yvonne from Canada who wants to be the state.
Don't forget the eggs.
Yeah, and we got a bunch of fucking retards in here that think egg prices are still going up. No offense to your children. I wasn't calling them that. I'm calling you that. Thank you for listening.
Mute up, Grant.
That was the best reset in history.
That was woken up.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you get demonetized. Thank you, Uncle G, for that. I appreciate you.
That is how not to get sponsorship, right there.
The previous words or views on that of Chatter are Debate the News.
And we've lost all sponsorships, Jonathan.
No sponsors.
Not a one.
Man, oh man, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Come on, speak up.
It's on you, Mark.
Well, the Biden argument was completely lost tonight. You guys don't
1 trillion%.
You guys ought to just, rather than you guys reading from ChatGPT every night, this is why you guys really can't win debates, because you just study lightly every once in a while about whatever topic's happening. Also, I want to suggest and confront to Jonathan and Nelson, if he's still here, we still have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33. We have 36, 39, oh my God, 42 co-hosts and only about 4 people speaking. So either you got too many fucking co-hosts, you got too many people sleeping, or you got somebody not running this room. Jonathan Bing, back to you.
Or maybe people don't want to get cut off by you.
Yeah, Grant.
Oh, shit.
Get off our backs, Grant.
No.
Free reign on Grant Cardone, guys. Free reign on Grant Cardone.
Hey, yo, that's crazy.
Hello? Pause.
Chat, let's get out the car because it's about to get ugly.
Oh, my bad, Mark. Grab my hand.
Let's go too long.
Sandy, come on, sit by me in the back of the car.
42 co-hosts and you guys don't say anything when you're here. Why do you give these co-host badges out if people are not going to participate, Jonathan?
No, Grant, you're right. People
The
should
hell out?
participate. People are supposed to participate, and that's why we do it. They're supposed to participate. That's why we do it.
I've never heard Kate speak or say a word. Scooby Dude, never heard a word.
Scooby talks all the time.
I ain't heard Credit or Laura all night. Dak, Danielle, Joseph, not said a word. Tina only talks when I insult women. Catherine, we love Catherine, but she never says anything. Jazzy, don't even know who she is. Ann, Chat, she puts in her little bullshit every once in a while, but she doesn't carry it very long.
Love you too.
I love you, baby. Okay, we got Debbie, never heard of her. Lisa, come on. Pamela, Consula's got a little
Consuelo.
Well, how would I know? You never fucking say anything.
I just want to correct you, Grant. My name is Consuelo.
Consuelo.
And you email me all your Grant stuff, communication.
I love you, Consuelo.
I get about 3 times, 5 times every day
Switched
from you.
up real quick.
That's not enough.
Consuelo, have you bought anything from me?
Excuse me? I bought one of your forces.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Fantastic.
Oh, you better love that. That's for sure. And
I
do get in the chat.
I'd love to hear you more.
Because you just don't stop talking. That's
I'd love
all,
to hear you more often.
I love my girl.
I actually talk least, probably less than most people in the room. I'm trying to get things going here. I'm trying to get you talking. Mark Days, I love you, man.
You know I love you, Uncle G. You already know that, man. Tell Auntie
I just don't understand, Jonathan, why you run your rooms the way Joe Biden ran the country into the fucking ground.
Not too much on JB.
Giving people that contribute nothing the same status as those that do.
Actually, Grant, well, we have back channel stuff that goes on. We bringing people up. Like let's say that, like tonight, I opened the room up and I didn't have everyone co-host. So I grabbed the old room.
You have 42 co-hosts.
One second, Grant. Hold on, Grant.
Come on, man. $13 eggs.
One second. So anyway, Grant, like when you came in, you weren't co-hosted. I grabbed the incorrect room, okay, and opened it up. And like you, Cindy, a whole bunch of other people, most of all, everyone wasn't co-hosted. So I start co-hosting people because now my normal co-hosts aren't co-hosted.
Well, basically, you're saying your co-hosts don't do anything to help you.
No, but what I'm saying is my normal co-hosts weren't like I really have a room set with you guys in there. But somehow I grabbed the wrong room.
What are you talking about? Your normal co-host? You have 40. You give 40.
No, Grant.
If you were running a country, you would let anybody come in.
Grant, that's bullshit. Yeah, you're right. I would.
Yeah, you would have no borders.
No, you're right, Grant.
You know,
Grant, I will have borders.
I'm dead.
One second.
It's crazy.
Grant, I will have borders. I'll let them in, but they can't get out.
You know, Grant, it's a very unfortunate situation. I thought I taught him better. You know, I don't think he learned anything
somebody
from
threw
the
me
One
down.
second, Nelson. Hold on.
One of your co-hosts.
Here's Nelson and Peggy, guys.
One of your
co-hosts. Booty clapping or kissing?
Yeah, Nelson and Peggy.
One mic on.
I don't believe Nelson threw me down.
Of course.
Hey, Grant.
One second, guys. One second. Don't throw Grant down, guys. Do not throw Grant down.
You see, Grant, he didn't learn anything from me, Grant. That's the problem. He didn't learn anything.
I was just going to tell Grant, this
room's yo, Jonathan, stop twerking on camera, bro.
Who the hell is clapping? Since 9 o'clock in the morning. We've been running since then. A lot of us been talking most of the day. Where have you been?
Scooby-Doo looking for
a Scooby-Doo shot his wad.
He's looking for a Scooby snack.
I've been working.
So Scooby-Doo, you basically ran out of juice. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. A lot of the stuff we talked about earlier today, and I heard a lot of dumb shit.
You ran out of material or what?
No, I just didn't care to get in some of this dumb shit conversation.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I mean, I heard a lot of egg prices. Oh my God, that was.
Man, somebody just threw me to the goo, man.
Are we still talking about eggs?
So why didn't you come off a mic when they said the egg prices, and why didn't you just call them a dumbass?
Because you were all over it.
No, I actually didn't comment about it.
Well, other people did. I don't want to fight to get a word in it.
Well, that's why I'm saying you probably don't deserve a co-host badge then if you're not willing to fight.
Yeah.
Debate is in the title. Right there. Debate is in the title, y'all.
They get Social Security for that.
Grant say, yo, you probably don't deserve his code.
Bro, keep it gangster real, bro. Shit.
Grant, I've been bringing people up all day today.
Grant say, yo, you probably don't deserve a code.
No, but shout out to the co-hosts, though that do stay active and bring people up, because Jonathan is useless when it comes to that. So shout out to those of you guys that do that.
Yeah. I'm about to tell you, toss your ass down. You're not coming on my podcast. That my recorded podcast called useless. Next
is it recorded right now?
Yeah, next time that happens, yeah, you gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna start throwing your co-hosts down, and they're probably sleeping by this time. Let's see.
Who do you call it sleeping?
There we go.
Yeah, you wake them up real quick.
There we go. Get them out of here.
Some of us are on phone calls with Dubai and all that too.
Hey, let's Doge debate the news. Let's go. Clean it up.
Now it's time for affirmations.
Get the fuck out of here with affirmations. Get the fuck out of here with that.
You about to manifest a Goon membership.
Yo, Mark, I just got one for y'all.
It's crazy, dog.
Nelson, you stupid.
Manifest
That was
a flight
messed up,
to Goo Afghanistan out here.
It was the immediate response.
He said, get the fuck out of here with your manifestation.
Yeah, you gonna manifest a one-way ticket to Afghanistan.
Nope. Every day I get stronger.
Manifest your way to the App Store.
Well, I want to hear.
What did you manifest today? I manifested a one-day flight to Ukraine.
Mark,
man, some of y'all need a damn affirmation.
Mark, I want to hear one of her affirmations. As long as it's got something to do with, like, my voice is getting deeper.
That's crazy work.
Oh my God.
Okay, here you go. Every day I get stronger, wiser, and closer to giving absolutely zero fucks about.
Get the fuck out of here with affirmation.
That's the kind of affirmation.
You gotta let her finish one. That was
affirmation is the App Store of the hallway.
You gotta let her finish her affirmation.
My God, can't y'all just stop talking? One second. My God, just stop.
Go viral.
Let her finish.
And Grant, you did call me on my phone last year to invite me to the event in Utah. So, just in case you forgot who I am, that's the girl you've spoken to. So
let's go.
Yeah, you know all
should
that.
have blocked
Don't
his
be an
ass.
asshole.
Let him know. You got a walkie-talkie, man. You got to turn
we
it
can't
on.
hear you anymore.
You need to buy a new phone.
Okay,
You sound like you underwater in the hot.
Excuse me, Breaker 19.
Can you redo your affirmation,
Clear the line.
Mama?
Can you read me?
I want to hear your affirmation.
Yeah. Okay, I have a whole list of snarky ones.
Let's talk about
I am not everyone's cup of tea, and I drink coffee anyways, bitch.
Damn. Oh my God.
I'm the plot twist that the universe didn't see coming. I radiate confidence, sarcasm, and just enough crazy to keep it interesting.
Let's go.
I'm doing my best, and if that's not enough, lower your damn standard.
That's a fact.
Is that the lady from Police Academy?
Where's the sound, Jonathan?
Mute your mic, sir. Get a new joke, bro. She's a grandma.
I thought we agreed that acapella was going to an instrumental and he wasn't allowed no more.
Great idea.
Who is that acapella? Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, y'all can't let him come in here freestyling.
Says the man that comes in here freestyling.
You know, those Democrat.
So there's that.
Those Democrat Africans, man.
You know, Nelson.
Democrat Africans is crazy.
Democrat
Africans.
I'm concerned.
Sound like a strong
Democrat African. I'm concerned. I feel like I need to watch something.
Is that an Afrocrat?
Jump in.
Oh, that was crazy work.
You're welcome.
I don't
think
was
that you. That was
me. I get one good one.
That was freaking genius.
They sound good in finance.
Wait, 1 second, God damn it.
They hate him so much that they want him to fail. So are you an American first? What do you care about? Do you want this to work as Americans, or do you hate the man that much that you are voting against him winning in this? That's what's got me all fucked up here. That's what I don't understand.
Cannibalizing yourself to see someone else fail is insanity. I'm gonna just keep it a buck.
It's
what I see here. Whether your thoughts that it's a 50-50 shot or an 80-20, you should all still want this to work. But I don't think you lefties don't want this to work because you want to be proven you were right. Right about what? You want to be
Hey, that was
proven
the
what?
bar, Cindy. You ain't even realize it.
Cindy, I don't think people want this
And
thing to
John, last
fail.
night you said
I don't want nobody want this to fail. I don't think nobody wants this to fail because
then,
it will fail.
then let's just stand behind it. It's like I said last night. Then let's stand behind it and see how it goes. You might be sitting in this room 3 weeks from now going, oh, geez, we fucked up on this one. He made it happen. Oh, my God, he brought everybody to the table. Then what are you guys going to talk about? That he bullied everybody to the table? What's going to happen then? What if this all works out just fine?
There's nothing he can do, Cindy, to make the other side at least give him any credit whatsoever. It doesn't matter. He could cure cancer. He could make somebody a millionaire, and they'd still be pissed off at him.
Okay,
They'd say, "Oh my God, now I'm greedy."
Then I'm going to
and
say it
just gotta give
again.
all the way.
Then you don't love your country first.
Exactly.
Period. Never saw so many people wishing that he falls on his face on this one.
When you had a president who actually fell on his face upstairs, it's crazy.
Numerous times, a multiplicity of scenarios he was in falling. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Good word, Mark. Good word.
But as Americans, aren't you all embarrassed at the way he's going about it?
Excuse me, Canadian sir. You shall show respect.
Wait,
I'm just messing with.
Wait, Mark, that was a Canadian?
Yeah, it was definitely a maple leaf.
Oh,
it was definitely a maple leaf.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
I thought that was Norman for a second.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Norman's still collecting his $162.42 from Shorty in the tights. He's still trying to get his money back.
Getting stood up and having to pay and split the check.
That's a fact. Getting stood up and paying the bill is crazy.
Boom.
Don't worry,
not getting
Kim,
anything in
we're
return.
gonna still buy
He's
our
in the
lumber
friend
from
zone.
you. That's been excluded. We're gonna still buy our lumber from you. That's been excluded.
Hey, Cindy. Hey, have you started already estimating, cost of the tariffs on construction materials? I was hoping they were going to carve that out, but
He did. He carved out a lot of it, but he carved out the big one, lumber.
Yeah, man, I thought I was going to have to go to modular construction for a second.
We do have enough lumber here, though, believe it or not. But whatever. We depend on Canada for that, so that's been taken out of the equation.
You know, Cindy, what's interesting is everybody in the chat's like, "Oh yeah, this, that, and the other." They won't speak up and come off mic. They actually truly hate Trump enough to know that they can't say it out loud. They can only just keyboard warrior this.
Oh, yeah, because I call them keyboard cowboys, so we know what that is.
Yeah, we got haters. I love it. Keep hating. Keep hating in that chat. Light it up.
You're only hating on your own country.
Call them out.
Are you this delusional that you're hating on your own country?
Jedi's the #1 guy, D.
Well, damn.
Who else we got? Jazzy in there too? Yeah, we can call him out. Come on.
Well, damn.
So wait, what you saying, Storm?
Butternut. Here we go. Who said that, Carlos?
This
is Jedi.
Don't call him Butternut.
Jedi. Why are you such a keyboard warrior? Why don't you come off mic more and defend your position?
Better get your lightsaber.
Well, the truth is, I don't have to come off mic. I'm just expressing myself in a chat. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
We want you to express publicly because we want to hear your view. We just don't want to see you criticize in the chat. Criticize in public. Let's go. We want to hear your point.
I can do either or because there's no rules here.
Exactly.
And the points I'm making are
Hey, Storm, isn't the chat public? So I know you're not the brightest guy in the world, but isn't the chat public? That's why you're seeing it?
Yeah, we want to hear it. We just don't want to read it.
Isn't that why you're responding to? Because it is public.
Yeah, why read it when you can hear it?
When your podcast
I can't read, Jonathan.
Hey, actually, Sean, I actually think the chat is better because the words can't be erased and they kind of stick in your mind.
But the podcast
it's not like you
can't hear it though.
Yeah, we need the public to hear you. They can't read what you're seeing,
bro. You like Jonathan said, you responding to it, dude. It is what it is, man. This guy's making crazy decisions, and the excuses that MAGA has is just crazy. Anything he says, anything he does, you guys support. Well, most of the MAGA supporters.
JD, that's not true. We don't support everything he does. That is so not true. Absolutely not true.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Well, there's many people in the room that support it.
I'm not supporting everything he does.
That's you personally, but most of MAGA, they support him. They say, "Hey, man,
that's bullshit. That's just bullshit."
That's not true.
That's true. You guys say that in the chat. You say it on stage. No matter what he does, you guys support. And that's
not
what I'm
true.
saying. I'm an
Again,
independent myself, but
it's
I
not
just don't
true.
understand why. I don't
Not
understand
true.
that whenever he
There's a
comes
lot
out
of
with
us
something, there's
doing a lot
always
of
people
JD. There's a
supporting it.
lot of us doing a lot of eye rolling right now. Trust me, okay?
So
So
JD,
how can
I
you're
don't think
supporting them,
you
but then
speak to
if my thing is
to
this,
enough of us to
if
understand
MAGA
that we
was
don't
really
actually support him.
willing to look at it from a independent point of view, just looking at his decisions and say, hey, let me criticize this, then I would be like, okay, hey, MAGA has a point. But a lot of MAGA people that out here talk and express their opinions, no matter what he does, they support it. And I'm like, dude, what are you guys drones? Like, what's going on here?
So
Me myself, I was criticizing
No,
Kamala.
that's
I think
actually
she was one of the worst
the
candidates.
other side that you guys have
Well,
defended.
I'm not on the other side. I'm independent. I was actually
Okay, well,
criticizing Kamala.
okay, but the
Kamala was
other
really
side has, Biden's not this, he's not that, he's not losing his whatever. You guys have agreed with the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is for the rich. The Republican Party is not for the rich anymore, too. Let's get that straight, okay?
that's a
I'm
fact.
speaking because Storm, he called me out, which I got no problem with.
Well, Storm's a
But at the
hardcore
same
Republican.
token,
He's
my
not a
thing is that
MAGA. He's
if you're
not a
gonna call me
MAGA.
out,
He's a
if you're gonna call me
hardcore
out,
Republican.
you gotta listen to my statements. And I criticize MAGA based on his points, based on the stuff he does. It just doesn't make any sense, and it's always a justification. And when he comes out and says something, why do people have to interpret what he says? Why can't we take him at his word? Why are people like, wait, it really means this, it really means that, and then sometimes MAGA they don't even agree on their explanations. That's
And
just
we didn't,
foolishness to me.
but we didn't even understand Biden when he was talking. He talked a
Yeah,
language
but
that we didn't even understand what he
I'm
was
actually
saying.
talking about Trump. I'm not talking about Biden.
I'm just saying, if you want to say, that I'm just comparing the two. Like, sometimes Biden was doing a lot of talking and we're all going, huh? What? What's he
But
saying?
see, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just talking about Trump.
so I hear
And
what I hear what you
Well,
say,
at least
brother.
he's talking. You might not like what he's saying, but at least he's talking. But maybe
yeah, he's
talking
I
talking,
too
but
much.
we got the right to
don't got it,
criticize
bro.
him when he says stuff that don't make sense and things that make
We
sense.
do.
That's my
We
point.
do. We do. We talk to the TVs, trust me. We say,
Jedi.
shut up.
So
We're sitting there watching our TVs going, oh, Jesus, shut up. Oh, no, not another tweet. Oh, no, please, please stop. Get off my TV, please.
Well, Cindy, you're saying that, but
Go
other
do your
people don't
job.
say that.
Go do your job, Mr. Trump, President Trump. Go do your job. We don't have to know every second of everything you're doing. Period.
So yeah, I was gonna say quickly. Yeah, what you're saying isn't true. You'd have to have. I don't know if you listen to enough Republicans. If you actually listen to more MAGA supporters, you would know that what you're saying isn't true. Because again, like I'm a MAGA supporter and I don't agree with everything that Trump does. I mean, I don't. I agree with the aggregate, like the majority of the things he does, because I can see what he's doing. I understand it, right? Like I think about it and I weigh it up and I say that's a good play, right? I understand how to troll the media. Okay, so this is idea. There's no such thing as bad press, right? The media gave him billions of dollars worth of press because he knew how to troll them to get them to report on things, right? So he might enter into a negotiation and he might form like a big ask and put something out there where the less intelligent amongst us might turn around and say, "What is he saying now? What is he doing?" But really, he's baiting you so that he can switch up with you later on. And these are the kinds of things that people who don't know what he's doing will misinterpret as him saying. And I'm not talking to anybody in the room. I'm just saying in general, right? I see it all the time. Misinterpret him as being a mad person, but that madness seems to be able to keep China at bay. It seems to keep Iran in check. It seems to keep the Taliban from fucking going crazy. It seems to keep Europe from. It seems to keep Europe understanding that they. And I'm a part of the European fucking whatever, right? It gets people to understand their position in the world because he knows what he's doing. The man's a businessman. He's not a politician. He's not hiring crazy people to do his thing. He's doing it himself. So I get what you're saying. We don't all agree with everything that he does, and that's fine. We are more likely to disagree with Trump and vocalize it and him listen to us than us being told that we're not allowed to put it on fucking Instagram, X or Facebook because we're going to get cancelled. You see what I'm trying to say? If anything, the people who are going to land here, because, you know what I'm saying, my flights are solar powered. If anything, right, the people who misinterpret Trump the most are the Democrats. Anything he says gets misinterpreted, like the bloodbath comment. Oh, he's gonna induce a bloodbath. He's talking about something economically, and it got turned into him being a white nationalist who's going to start murdering people. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about here? So I get what you're saying, but if we're to throw criticism, we have to throw it on both sides for it to be
No, I
equal.
don't.
So
I don't think you get what I'm saying. I don't think you get
no,
what I'm saying
I get
because
completely what you're
wait,
saying,
let
but
me say something.
I
Reason
just
why I don't think
disagree
you
with
get
what
what
you're
I'm
saying.
saying
No,
is
I get it.
because
I
wait,
disagree.
can I
I
respond to what you're
disagree
saying?
because you're talking about me, and I disagree with what you're saying.
Can
So
I?
I get it.
But you're not letting me talk to even understand what I'm saying.
No, I'm finished. I've finished talking now.
Okay, yeah, you finished talking. Okay, cool. Now, I fundamentally disagree with what you first said because you said you were saying that, okay, if you listen to more Republicans and more people MAGA, and so you're making this assumption that I haven't listened to Republicans and MAGA, which I have. And what I'm saying is true. I've talked to many MAGA people and encountered them, and a lot of them make excuses for what he says, things he does. And then this whole Trump splaining. Like I said, you guys don't even agree on what he says. He might say one thing, and you might give an explanation. Another person gives another explanation. I'm like, do we speak English? Like, well, why are you speaking in code?
Can you give an example?
Can
you give an example?
A fair example is the White House today, the White House yesterday, the White
No,
House the
let
day
him
before.
let
Is
him
just
speak,
trying
bro.
to explain what
Let
he's
him speak,
trying
bro.
to do, and they're not giving exactly what he's doing.
No, look, like I said, you said that I don't listen to Republicans and MAGA, and I do. So, and then you kind of asserted that, okay, if you listen more, you'll be able to understand. Almost like I'm unintelligent. No, I hear what he's saying, and I hear the dog whistles, and I hear the stuff that he says that that doesn't make sense. It says that don't make sense.
Do you think that the dog whistles are for racist people?
I hear dog whistles. It doesn't matter who it's for. If you're a president, if you're a president, you're supposed to bring the nation together rather than tear it apart. And I don't think he's trying to bring the nation together. I think he's trying to tear it apart.
Do you think when Maxine Waters says that you gotta find these people in public, you gotta surround them? Do you think when you've got actors saying that when was the last time an actor assassinated a US president? Do you think when you got politicians advocating for people to go out there and destroy flipping Tesla, do you think that that's conducive to a balanced country? Do you think that does more to destabilize, to incentivize one side when you start calling a man a fascist or Hitler? He's worse than Hitler is the rhetoric that I've heard for the past fucking 8 years. An individual who literally has fucking Jews in his family, right? Do you understand how stupid you have to be to make those statements? And yet I don't hear any disdain or any kind of pushback against the other side. You know, MAGA people, the MAGA Republicans have been quite fucking tame. We all know that January 6th was never a good thing. Excuse me, I'm still speaking. Excuse me, I'm still speaking. The people on January 6th were the most despicable people on the planet, right? And nobody in the MAGA movement actually supports that. If anything, we all started to call out Ray Epps, and I'm gonna land here because I know I can be a long-winded motherfucker, but we all started to call out Ray Epps. We all started to call out Ray Epps, and everybody says, people in this room, shout out to Jonathan Bing, was like, why are you going after to Ray Epps? What, you mean the fucking, the insider who obviously was either CIA or FBI who was trying to instigate the riots? What are we talking about here? Nobody backs the January 6th, and that's the most you've ever seen. What, you're going to talk about Carl Rittenhouse because he killed a fucking pedophile? What are you talking about here? Are you talking about the Supreme Court justices that were being targeted by the left wing mob? No, bro. Everything you're saying is cap. Like the red ones. No, sorry, the blue ones, right? It's not holding up to weight. I'm telling you, as a Trump supporter who's not even in the country, who speaks to MAGA Republicans all the fucking time, who listens to them on YouTube, watches them on X, they do not agree on the same thing. We consistently call them out. And when you spoke in the past tense, not in the present tense. I'm telling you right now, as we're talking in the present moment, it's not true. By virtue of me and Cindy saying it to your face, it's not true. My brother.
Well, I find it hilarious as you brought up a straw man argument. All that stuff you brought up, I wasn't speaking that. No, I never said I was Democrat. I never came from that point of view. I'm speaking. I am speaking. Right? You said me, right? I'm speaking. Can I finish?
He is speaking.
Now I find it funny that you said what MAGA doesn't support. So you know the minds of every single MAGA person? Wow, that's amazing. You must be God.
Yeah, but that's my argument.
I am yet speaking. I am yet speaking. So, like I said before, I'm an independent. I'm criticizing the president based on his decisions, not based on somebody being a Democrat. And the subject matter is Trump, not Maxine Waters. Nobody. We're talking about Trump. How about you look at Trump's actions and his words and judge that? I land my plane.
Bro, don't land your plane. Stay flying. The thing is, right? I've just told you we criticize him. Number two, a Democrat a person who says they're an independent is normally a Democrat. Number three, I never strawmanned anything because I never asserted anything. You inferred it from what I was saying because you were not listening to what I was saying. I was saying, if you understand the basis of my argument, if you're going to call out Trump supporters, then and you're going to say that Trump is dog whistling, and I hear a lot of the time the rhetoric from the left is that only racists hear dog whistles. Why is it then that everybody on the left are the only people that hear the fucking dog whistles? What are you saying? What are we saying? That left-wing people on the left are racist? Is that an absurd fucking statement to make? Maybe, but it's also absurd to assert that he's dog whistling when he is quite literally the most fucking honest person to tell you what he's going to do. He told you he was going to fucking tariff the world up. He told you to his face he was going to deport people. Why does he need to dog whistle? What are you talking about? The man's fucking honest and tells you to your face. That's why we like the man, because he's real. So what are you talking about, bro?
Once again, you assume my position. You're assuming my position when I even ask what my position is. And then do you know what a straw man argument is? That's when you bring up an argument that hasn't been placed. You bring it up and you burn it in front as if you're defending that and you're fighting. I didn't say that. So you bring them back.
You're not hearing what I'm saying, are you?
I'm not saying that. My subject matter was Trump. How about we stay on Trump?
No,
this. Yeah. So don't assume my position. I actually gave my position before. I said an independent, and I find it again hilarious that you're going to say an independent is a Democrat. Dude, I got the right to decide what side I believe on, whether I agree with the side or I don't, or I agree with some things from the side and from the other. Don't assume. I'm telling you who I am. I told you where I stand. How about you stay on that point? I like my plan.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it here because I'm just having fun, bro. It's not that deep for me, bro. The second thing is, it's funny that you're saying all of that because everything you know what's really interesting about listening to people speak? They always reveal their hypocrisy, right? It's like it's so interesting if you have the ears to hear and listen to the fundamental principles that govern somebody's underlying arguments. You can hear the hypocrisy in the way that they express what they're talking about, but it's fine. And again, I'm not here to argue with you against your thing. You have to.
If you're going to call me hypocrite,
I'm speaking.
It's not fine.
I'm speaking, sir. I'm speaking. The
okay,
point
go
I'm
ahead
trying to make is, what I'm speaking, bro. The point I'm trying to make is.
I thought it wasn't that serious for you.
It's interesting to just listen to people who think that they're smart speak. But shout out to you, man. Big up to you, bro.
Well, I mean, if you're going to call me a hypocrite, I think that's really an insult. So if we're just having a conversation, and you said we're not going that hard on me, why do you call me a hypocrite? And I find that again funny because everything that I've said, I stood on. And I gave my position, but you assumed other stuff. You brought up straw man arguments, and then now you're going to say I'm unintelligent.
I didn't bring up straw man arguments.
I'm yet speaking. And then you're going to say make inference to unintelligence. You're going to make an inference into unintelligence. Then you're going to make an inference to me not listening to all Republicans. This hasn't even been a debate. It's been an insult. You've been constantly insulting me rather than asking my position. Dude, I'm not talking no more. I land my plane, and I've made my point. Since you're going to continue to insult.
No. So I tell you why you feel like I'm insulting you, because I'm just matching the energy. You literally said to us in this room that why is it that Republicans are incapable of calling out Trump, right?
That's not true. I said MAGA.
Okay, MAGA Republicans or tomato, right? So
MAGA supporters.
As a consequence, right? You've heard from two MAGA supporters, right, tell you that that's patently false, right? So what are you insulting us? Are you insulting our intelligence? I don't take it to heart like that. Like it's not that deep for me, bro. Like, it's just interesting. It's fun. This is chatter. We're having a conversation. This is Debate the News, the greatest podcast on the planet. If you're not downloading your chatter app to be part of this, like, what are you doing? You could be part of these kind of fun-filled conversations where people who don't take life too seriously do battle from across the globe. You see what I'm going to say? Like, we can be a part of that, man. It's not that deep for me, bro. But I get what you're saying.
I find that funny, man. You say it's not that bad, but then you call me hypocrite. You bring up strong argument, and you don't acknowledge my position. So that's why I've ended this debate with you. Well, it's not like I said, it hasn't been a debate, it's been an insult. You haven't even addressed what I've said. Each time you take the mic, you say it's not serious, but then you hurl attacks. So it's all good, man. Go ahead, be the MAGA person you are, which is cool. You got the right to be that. But don't insult my intelligence and call me hypocrite and bring up strongman arguments and then expect me to say this is a debate. It's all good. I land my plane.
There were no strawman arguments, right? There were none.
Jedi Strikes Back. And that was a wrap. You are now tuned into the podcast. I don't know if everybody's sleeping, but download the app and download some episodes and tune in to the past arguments that didn't lead anywhere, but you learned a lot of shit, you know?
But Jedi, they do have MAGA Republicans that Trump still can't do no wrong. There's one on this morning about 10 o'clock. He came on. You couldn't tell him that Trump is doing wrong. But that's just a few of them. There's a lot of them in Florida, Texas that I've even spoke to and done business with. Trump still cannot do no wrong. So what are you going to do? I'll end there.
Yo, is everybody asleep, man? What's going on? Nobody's talking.
Amen.
No, we're up. So I have a question because everyone was saying earlier that if you're not supporting him, you're not, you're against the country or whatever. And this is like a horrible comparison, but it's the only one I have to go off of. Do you think before the Holocaust actually happened, there were people that were in opposition to what was going on, and the rest of the country was telling them also that if they're not supporting the country? Like, at what point is the turning point or the stopping point for dumbass decisions that are being made that endanger the entire country?
That's a great question. Is this morning I asked Cindy that same question and she couldn't answer it.
They're not going to answer it. They're going to turn it back to Biden, Kamala.
At what point do we as citizens say, hey, because I remember just a half ago, everybody was protesting about Biden, what he was doing. Hey, eggs are too high. Prices are too high. Inflation is too high. And he ain't saying nothing. No. Everybody is quiet. Even the whole GOP is quiet.
And I don't think it's a matter of calling him a failure. Like, you don't have to be a failure. You just fail at being a fucking president. Doesn't mean you're not still good at something. But
it's not even being a failure. It is the bleeding point. We got to stop the bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than one way to skin a cat. Skin it a different way. Stop the bleeding and skin it a different way.
Hey, why I agree with the brother that just came in is because that question that you said, and what you just said right now, at what point it seems like it always turns back into some type of excuse. I never see stand on it like, yeah, we fucked up. Yeah, we fucked up. It's never that. That's what I see. So, like I said, the comments is better. It's better to talk from there. I think.
And I think it's being said in the background, but then nobody got the guts to say it to him.
Well, I just choose not to come off mic when Grant's on because he cuts people off, and I don't have the patience for it. I'll throw my phone or something. Like, I get sensitive, so.
It's a debate room, so debating is sometimes going back and forth.
Yeah, and that's fine if you can get your idea out in order to let someone counter it. It's the not getting it out part that blows my mind.
Well, there should be a little decorum, and there should be a round table if you want to get participations. But hey, I'm just a business analyst, so I don't know shit.
I'm just a nurse. I don't even see patients anymore.
None of y'all was on the big debate team back in high school.
I was on the Model UN when I was in college. Loved it.
All right, then. So the round table don't go in the circle; it go in the motion of the discussion.
Look, we knew in the Model UN not to trust Russia. I don't know why. I don't know why our president doesn't know that.
The Nigerian brother, the English dude. Have you ever been to the U.S.?
That's a wonderful question.
I see he has a name Dur. That's what is what. That's what is Dur. Have you ever been to the U.S., sir?
What are you talking about?
Okay, the Saint. Have you ever been to the U.S.? And if so, what parts of the U.S. have you been to?
You talking about St. Jude?
Yeah, the Saint.
Sir Jude?
Not Sir Jude.
He's
No.
talking to Augustus.
Not Sir Jude.
He has
Augustus,
a
someone Augustus.
Sorry, I heard my name. What's going on? What's happening?
Yeah, he keeps saying the
yes.
saint, and you don't know he's talking to you.
He called you the at first.
Got it.
No, I looked at his tag. I
You're not
looked at
even
his
a pro
tag.
now.
His tag and it says the Saint.
Oh, the saint. Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever been? Have you ever been to the U.S. and if so, what state? What
No,
city
I
have
was
you been?
gonna move to the US about 3 years back.
You never been?
To California, which would have been the most destructive thing I could have done. My plan was to move to Texas after that. So I consume a lot. I've also never been to China or Russia, but I have opinions on those two countries. So if that's your point, which is possibly what you're leading up to, because nothing is ever innocent in this room, the answer to your question is 100% no. Under Biden, it was never going to happen. I would have rather jumped off of the 12th fucking floor of my apartment block. No parachute. But no, I get it.
Man,
Why do
come
you
on.
so?
That,
Why do
yes
you
or
so?
no? Yes
Dramatic.
or
Why do
no?
you
Yes
So
or
so?
no?
unnecessary.
God damn it. Shit. Yes or no?
Wait for the follow up
No,
Literally.
but
question. Good
no, because
lord.
so I'm well versed in where that question, that leading correctness, that I understand what that means. It's
Where
like
was I
you've never
going
been
then?
But
here.
you might be wrong. You might be
Where
No,
was
no,
I
but
wrong.
going?
I might be
Right.
wrong.
You've never
I
been
might
here.
be
How do you
wrong.
know?
Where was
I
I going
might
in
be
the
wrong,
question?
and I've
Where
said
was
that.
I?
I've said that I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I'm not here. I'm not precious about it. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. But I'm saying that I've already answered the question twice. I've given you. I'll say it a third time. No, I haven't. But I have a vested interest in geopolitics, especially a country I was about to become a citizen in, or an illegal alien. I would have crossed the southern border at one point to make a documentary about how easy it is. That would have got me a lot of points. But no, to kind of make sure that your question is asked in good faith. I've also never been to the moon or Mars, but I think they
Oh,
could
for
be
crying out loud.
great places to live. Don't cry out loud, bro.
You,
Cry inside. It's a lot healthier for you.
It's unbelievable. I
you,
thought, listen,
you're a
and you
funny
guys
guy.
said that, and you guys
Such a
said my
performance
egg,
art.
listen, you guys said my raising prices on eggs was crazy.
You got to switch to
Shit.
white eggs instead of yellow eggs. But the South Borders
That's
documentary is
unbelievable.
crazy. But
I
you
do.
vote.
I would
But
like
you
to
MAGA
speak
for the
on.
guy that wanted to build a wall.
Bro, you're not even qualified to even have this conversation.
You see it? You see it there? And that's what
Can
it
I
means.
pop
So
in?
so
Can I pop
So,
in?
but that's
question.
the,
Please,
the but the, see,
Sheree.
but
Please,
I
that's
just
Sheree.
exactly what I'm saying.
just wanted to say to the gentleman, you said, and I'm not coming for you at all. You
You can
said
never
that
come.
nothing is innocent. You said that nothing is innocent in this room, but that's absolutely not true. There are a lot of intimate relationships here, a lot of good friendships here, and I just don't want you to have a negative impression. We talk our shit, but it's not.
No, no, I get it. I'm from Clubhouse from the old days. I've been on this app or on Clubhouse for years. I know a lot of the people in this space. We've been doing
They
battles
all know I'm Sheree.
for rooms,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's
But
all
He's
good, man.
good. Sheree, he's
I'm
good.
not. Yeah, I'm not delicate. I'm well versed in the ways of a lot of the people here. Shout out to Bing for hosting these spaces. Shout out to Lisa for bringing me in. Big up Lauren. Shout out to Chat, the flyest black women in the world. Big up everybody else. Credit Ninja, Mr. Cardone. Where's my brother from another mother?
Well, it's
Mark
nice
Days.
to meet you anyway. My name's Sheree.
Nice to meet you, Sheree.
That's my
I'm all
girl,
good, man.
Augustus.
So, what industry are you in currently?
So I'm in multiple industries. I'm actually a creative director. I'm currently in the Lisa. Check this out. I'm currently in the AI space. You like that one, yeah? But yeah, I'm working.
For
So
crying out loud.
so I work as a web developer, graphic
Okay.
designer, and a filmmaker. My main things. I'm right now learning app development. I'm building a meditation app at the moment and working on some other projects. But yeah, it's kind of my thing. Why do you ask?
Do you meditate?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. You need first-hand expertise at times to really create and dive into it.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm a trained meditation teacher. A lot of things. If you know, wear a lot of hats, done a lot of stuff. I'm an old person, you know. So, yeah. 4 decades under my belt, but yeah, geopolitics is a thing of interest to me, and I like how I like watching how America works because it is the country that has the most influence on the planet. You know, it is the wealthiest country in a sense. But the people themselves are poor. To my brother Luis's point, and he was trying to kind of check my argument, and this is the point I'm making. Look, I'm going to land here. I'm going to go. I'm going to do some work. It's 4 a.m. It's 5 a.m.
Okay.
I just think that I just think that what Cindy's saying is actually on point. What Grant Cardone is saying is on point. What Mark Days is saying on point. I think, if I understand his position, I don't know. I don't want to assume or strawman anybody's position. America used to be the greatest country in the world. It's not anymore.
Still is the greatest.
1 second. 1 second.
Okay.
It isn't anymore in that it has been failing for some time. It could be. It could be. It is always seen as the shining city on the hill. People in Africa want to go there. People in Europe want to go there. People in the Middle East want to go there. We look to America as the fucking greatest country in the world. But is it? Under Biden, definitely not. Under Trump, you have an opportunity. You know, you can hate a person, but you can't ignore what they're doing. And if you don't understand, then keep quiet. You don't have to throw shit at every fucking opportunity. In fact, I encourage it though, because Trump is like me. He gains from the disorder. He's anti-fragile. Like, we eat chaos for fucking breakfast. Love that shit. We thrive in that shit. So it does nothing to him. You can try to get him through lawfare. You can try to stop him from running for president. Hell, you can try and fucking assassinate him twice, thrice, 4 times a lady, right? And it still doesn't stop the man. The man's Teflon done for a fucking reason, bro. Everything that gets thrown in his face, he twists it around because that's the nature of anti-fragility. Trump is here to stay, and he could fail. And if he fails, he fucked up. China could be the thing that fucks him up. But then why would your disdain be towards Trump as opposed to China, who were taking the piss, to the European Union, who were taking the piss? Well, I don't understand that. To Canada, who are taking the literal piss. America allows everybody else to function, for fuck's sake. And as a consequence, its citizens are suffering. To put America first, to put any country first, to be a leader, to put your people first, is the point. And yet people are rooting for him to fail. It's the maddest fucking thing. So
They were
you asked
doing that.
me, and I land here properly. My background is in psychology. I'm a trained psychodynamic counselor working within a psychosocial framework. I make documentaries that document the nature of humanity and the dysfunction that I see in a lot of people. I've helped a lot of people, right? Saved a lot of people from taking their own lives, especially in COVID, especially on Clubhouse. People didn't know that shit. What I'm seeing right now is I'm gonna land here finally and shut the front door and leave on the latch, right? A lot of people
Stop
don't see
lying
this.
to us.
A lot of people don't like Trump, and that's good. That's fine. But you can't hate
Oh,
your
for
country as a
crying
consequence.
out loud.
So you mentioned earlier that you would have crossed the southern border just for the clicks. Why didn't you take that chance?
He ran into the wall.
Because I had other things to do with my time, bro. Plans change, don't they? You know what I'm saying? I could have crossed the southern border. I could have documented it. I could have made a lot of money. But do I really want to waste my time doing that? I could have, should
Okay.
have, but I
Okay.
chose not to. I chose to go to Africa, which I'm here now because Africa is more important to me. Africa first, bro.
Okay. So wouldn't you say that on the Biden, it was better on the Biden because Biden let in more people from all over the world? Wouldn't you say that was when you look across the dynamics, because America is currently underpopulated, and in terms of having young ones, so then they wanted to populate this, the country. So that's why they did that, what they were doing.
Sure, but I understand. I understand the argument that you're making. I disagree that that's why
You
they
could have
do.
made it in.
I disagree. I disagree why they were doing it. I disagree that that's why they were doing it. Personally, I think they were doing it because they understand that the Democratic base is failing. Their numbers are dwindling, as we're seeing right now. It's quite evident. You know, the only way to keep Trump out of power was to lie about him or to strawman all of his positions, to make out he's making racist statements. You know, a lot of the time, I didn't used to like Trump. I used to think he was racist. I despise Trump, bro. The same way that I fight for the positions that I have today is the same way I used to fight against anything he used to say. People don't know that about me. What changed my mind was the very fine people comment. I was listening. It came up in the news in England, right? And he said the president says, racists are fine people. I'm like, there's no fucking way. I don't like the man. There's no way that he said that. I went and I researched. I found the transcript, and he literally didn't say that. He literally said something different, right? It's like a two-part statement. And when I found that out, I became a Trump supporter instantaneously. And that is the story of so many people. You can jump onto TikTok right now, and you'll hear it from white, black, blue, pink, all the colors of the Power Rangers, right? People saying the exact same thing. The only way that the Democrats beat Trump is by lying about him. It's by trying to murder him, trying to poo-poo his policies, and that's cool. That's fine, right? But 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 why would you do that? Because your base is dwindling, and this is the reason you brought in people from from across the border. You pay these people to be to be in your country. You give them social security numbers. You allow them to vote, and a few people did vote in the last election. And of course, they're going to become loyal to the base. It's basic, bro. It's like training an animal or training a
So
child.
let me correct you with that. The Social Security, if you can recall, doesn't matter how far you go back in Social Security history, 2035 Social Security will run out of money. Let me say that again. Doesn't matter how far you go back. Under any president, 2035, the Social Security will run out of money. Reason being, there is not enough people contributing to Social Security. As you get
But
closer to 20,
okay, got it. But illegal aliens only contribute $100 billion a year. That's nothing. That's nothing, right? So if you're giving more people, this is what I don't understand. How you don't understand? If there were not enough people contributing to Social Security, wouldn't it make sense that you would bring more jobs back to your country, and thus you would have more manufacturing jobs and then export that? So if you have more manufacturing jobs in your country, there would be more people working and thus more people contributing to Social Security.
okay.
You see what I'm saying? When you really think out what you're
Yes, you're
saying, it's quite obvious.
correct. You're right. But then on the
Exactly.
bot,
So I don't
so
understand how people don't stand behind that policy. Anything that Trump is doing is to put America first, because of course that is a concern for a president that understands, with the fucking trade deficit, with the lack of manufacturing, with the what's the word? Your $35 trillion worth of debt to the. It's just
that
like what? Right. So it's just like, why
America,
wouldn't you try to
America is
fix that?
not a country.
Okay.
It's a bank.
But isn't there a responsible way of doing this? As
yes,
opposed
there
to
is.
this chaos that's basically being created right now, stressing
See,
everybody the fuck out, just that just destroying, years and years of relationships. I gave this idea earlier in the room, and I don't know if everyone, I'm assuming not everyone was here, but I said, if you're serious about bringing everybody to the table, the first thing you have to do is you have to protect your interests and make sure that you keep your promise that you told your contingency, your voters, that you're gonna lower the cost of living immediately. But you could still have done that and gotten to the point where you installed a 3% tariff as opposed to a 25% with Canada right off the bat, and then just going around and just bullying your way like a kid in a china
Sure.
bowl,
But
right?
I understand. I
Situation.
understand what you're
Let me
saying,
let me
right?
land. Let me land
Go on,
because
land,
you
land your
keep
thing, bro.
flying over airports and everybody's quiet, which is good. You're probably a pilot in your past life. I appreciate that. But yeah, the main thing
That
is
was a
you
really
could have
funny
done.
joke.
No, it wasn't a funny joke, but 3%, right?
No,
3%. Then you go in
that's
on an incremental basis 1 month after, and then the month after that. You keep incrementing it, but at least you give the industry time to adjust, figure out what's going on, and then you give folks enough time. You've got 180 countries that you instill tariffs on. And you're going to expect to have 180 countries meet up with them in time to basically stop the turmoil that's going on. I don't think people are hating what Trump's promise is or his dream is because he's a good salesman. What I don't like is the way he's going about it. He was destructive in his first presidency with all the stuff that he was stirring up, and he's now being destructive with people's pocketbooks, savings, economy, jobs, and as well as safety in regards to the services that he's cutting off across America. So let's not pretend that Trump is this all godly saint kind of thing because really he's just a kid like in a china bowl. I'll land with that.
I appreciate your characterization. I violently disagree.
God
To be
damn,
honest.
that was amazing.
It wasn't, but I disagree with what you're saying. Again, you're saying that Trump is bullying these other nations, when in fact, it's the other nations who have been taking the piss out of America, and that you don't know that is quite worrying. And you're an American citizen, and I don't even go
I'm
there.
not an American citizen. I'm a Canadian citizen.
Oh, even better,
So
right? So 1 second, your country itself, right, have been doing what? Is there not a trading balance between your country? Has America not been subsidizing the Canadian fucking economy up to, what is it, like $100 billion, right? So I get it, right? I understand, but he's saying, why do you impose tariffs on us? Why does any country impose tariffs on American products? It's so that American.
I could answer
One
that for you.
second, 1 second. I'm not asking. It's a what's a cool question, bro. I'm not
Okay.
finished. It's what I'm saying is the reason, and I'm going to answer it for you. The reason they do so is because they don't want to compete with American manufacturing companies, right? So they impose tariffs so that they can produce the fucking goods themselves, because they understand that if you keep the money in your community, then you're gonna have more money in your fucking community. Something that I hear my black brothers and sisters talking about all the time in the United Kingdom and in America, plus the rest of the world, right? So why wouldn't you want to keep your own money in your own community? Why wouldn't you want to produce things in your own community? Why would you not want to be able to export things to other communities? And if other communities are saying, no, you can't come here, bruv. And if you do try and sell it, we're going to charge you 35% of that. You're going to be like, what the fuck? And then you're going to not be able to do so. I just don't understand how you don't get it. And so the whole point of launching all of these, shocking the market at the same time, is to destabilize the entire fucking market so that everybody has to come to the table. And those who think that they're too big for their boots are going to kick and fuss. And those who don't understand are going to say, oh, he's committing this, that, and the rest of it. But actually, what he's trying to do is the very same thing that is the antithesis of what you're accusing him of. He's not the bully. He's trying to stop Americans from being bullied. You don't get that is worrying. But you're a Canadian, so I expect
Well, no,
nothing more
no.
from
Well,
you.
actually,
You asked a lot of
hold on,
rhetorical
wait,
how
wait, wait,
how
wait,
questions.
wait.
how
Hold on. Let me retort. Let
how
me
does
retort.
how
Let
does
me
the
retort that.
American people profit from that?
Because if
That's
let
you
my
me
bring
question.
more
let
jobs
me
back to
let me
America
let me
and
say
more,
that
But your
if
our
more things are
social
made in
security is
America that are
leaving.
hired by American
What?
companies.
let me
Ain't nothing
Social
said about
Security
Social
has nothing
Security
to do with
living,
Trump,
leaving.
that's for sure.
let me jump in here. The spirit. So tariffs. You say you're in just off the Ivory Coast, correct? So
Just off the
then
Senegal right now. I'm British. I'm Nigerian, but
you're
yeah,
British, okay? So
I'm
then
British. Do it properly, bro. British.
You're British.
There we go. That's a bit gay, but
Yo.
sorry.
Okay, so then that you're saying that tariffs, because I know tariffs. throughout the Caribbean, throughout a lot of African countries, a lot of European countries use tariffs as income, as revenue to the government. And even if America imposed, let's say, Portugal, and even if America imposed tariffs to me, I don't have to respond because I know I have to feed my citizens. I know I have to provide fundamental to my citizens. So then I can keep my tariff where it's at, whether it's at 10%. So anything that comes into the country, I'm going to tax it 10%. That's where I make my money for my country. So if America decides to add 35% to me, that does nothing for me as a country because I'm not exporting anything to America. And that's where all these other countries that Trump are imposing on, 180 countries, that has little to nothing that comes into America. Like, for instance, let's go to Dominican Republic. Dominican brings shirt. We get shirts and pants and stuff from Dominican Republic, but they have a tariff on us, bringing in goods to Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic just started in the industry of manufacturing a few years ago. Before that, it was tourism and what do you call that? Sugar and all them other stuff. So moving away from sugar and all them other stuff to get into tourism, they needed a way to get income. So they used tariffs. So America is not a country where you're going to switch from income tax to tariff for income. So
Exactly.
tariff
Sure,
is now used as a
go on.
tool to pressure these countries to back down. And
Sure.
if these countries do not back down, it is us, the people of America, is going to suffer.
It's not because the only reason you're going to suffer is because you're depending on other countries for your products, and this is the point. Like, if you go to war with fucking China, like a large majority of your medicine is made where? China. If you go to war with China, you're fucked. So why would you mitigate against that? Right? Why wouldn't you produce your own products in your? It's the craziest thing in the world. It's like if you've got an op. 1 second. If you've got an op, right, and your op produces all of your food, and then one day you go to war with your op, you're gonna starve. I don't understand how that's a crazy fucking idea to understand. Like, so the best thing you can do is to produce your own shit, so that if you go to war with your opposition, then at least your people are not going to starve. And so if there has to be some short-term pain as we kind of rethink about how we're going to start producing our own goods, good, because it's short-term pain today as opposed to when we go to war and then you're fucked forever. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? Today the economy is down because people are speculating. There was a little bit of good news that was fake news that happened yesterday in the early morning, and the stock exchange fucking roared for about, what was it, like 20 minutes, an hour or so, some bullshit like that. These are people who are not lovers of America, who are literally just betting on the confidence that a company or the is going to do well, right? That's not what you need. Forget those people. It's not important. That shit's not important. What's important is that you've got the capacity to defend yourself, one, that you've got the capacity to sustain yourself, two, and that three, the people in your country can actually live a good quality of life because they are producing and then you're exporting to other nations. If Trump's tariffs are twofold, right? Like you said, they serve as a means by which to basically bring people to the negotiation table, which is what he's doing, right? And secondfold, he's spoken about funding the government through tariffs. How would you do that? You would reduce the amount of government agencies and compile them so that, what is it, the Department of Agriculture starts now to handle food for kids or something like this. I forget, this argument's early, it's late for me now, right? Or you would, instead of having like 10 intelligence agencies, you would reduce them down to maybe 3 or 4. So you're not having to fund all of these crazy things. That's not a stupid idea. That's not a dumb idea. That's a fucking smart idea. If you reduce the amount of waste If you reduce the amount of agencies, if you reduce the amount of departments, then you don't have to spend so much money. And if you're funding those departments by tariffing, by the tariffs that you're using, man, come on, bro. Like it's not dumb. It's not dumb. It's not
Okay.
stupid. Is it a
It
long shot?
is.
Is it a long
Did you
shot?
go to
Maybe.
Trump?
One
You must
second.
have
One
went to
second.
Trump's
One second.
university.
One second. If it's a long shot, if you ask me if it's a long shot, I would say yeah, possibly it's a long shot. Right?
It
Do I
is.
agree? Yeah, but you know what? Life is about taking fucking risks.
But
And
here's the
you gotta
thing.
ask yourself. You gotta ask yourself, what's the alternative? The alternative is worse, bro.
Here's the alternative. Here's the alternative. As Mr. Grant Cardonos keep cutting me off, let me show you the alternative. Do you know the number one producer of oil?
Would it not be OPEC?
Okay, since you don't know, let me tell you. The US has been the number one producer of oil for the last 6 years. And that's a fact.
Let me double check that.
Go ahead, double check it.
Where does the US drill for this oil?
Say that again?
Where does the US drill this oil coming from? I'm assuming America, right? So I'm assuming it's America. I'm assuming it's like a state in America, right?
Correct.
So which state?
I don't know what
Texas.
state.
Let me help you out. Texas.
No, I know it's Texas. Like it can only be Texas.
It's not just
it's California too.
Oh, is it California?
It's Texas and California.
Texas is 41%.
Yeah,
oh,
Texas.
so it is Texas then. So it is Texas, right?
So
go on. So you asked me that question to to catch me out or to make a point or board a point.
To catch you out is to show you that we are still the number one producer of everything within the country. Dude, America don't have to go to tariffs. Work. Because we have, in terms of oil, we produce the most oil. And if we negotiate with other countries in selling them, like for instance, the Caribbean is moving towards Venezuela to buying oil versus buying it from the US. Why is that? Because all of a sudden Trump decides that, hey, I'm going to start a war with the Caribbean. I'm going to start warring with them, like seriously.
So let me I don't even like I'm gonna leave that argument alone, right? You win that one, right? But
okay.
No, but I mean that kind of sarcastically because it's kind of irrelevant. The reason I'm saying that is
how was it irrelevant?
So because I'm not making an argument about oil. You're bringing it up maybe. Okay. The reason why you might tariff a random country, right? So I think it's China that was building plants in Canada and Mexico. If you impose tariffs on China to export directly from China, say there's like a 35% tariff. China says, that's cool, but we ain't going to pay that shit. What we're going to do is we're going to build a manufacturing plant, a couple in Mexico and in Canada. And then we're just going to cross the fucking border. And because the cars that are produced by Chinese companies are then sent to America from a country with a low tariff or no tariff at all, then that is the loophole that China gets to work through. Do you understand how that works? So if you've got a country that doesn't have anything to export, essentially you could have a Chinese company go to that country and say, well, we're going to build a manufacturing plant, and so because you've got a low percentage, you see what I'm saying? Can you?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
But bro, that's the game. That's what I'm trying to get you.
And that's why I'm telling you, America is losing the game.
There's the McDonald's argue. What is it? The McDonald's Islands, where he's imposed the 10%. People are going, oh, there's penguins. Like it's like you're too fucking. When I heard Jake Tapper say this, it's like, dude, you're too stupid to understand that China could literally just ship something there and then ship something from there and say, well, it came from this place, right? And now there's no tariffs from this place. You understand that people understand how to play the game. You keep saying that he's losing the game. It's like, bro, you don't understand the nature of the game itself. You're playing at level 1. I'm playing at level 3.
What are you
These niggas are playing at level fucking 75, bro. I'm
What are
not
you
the smartest
talking
person
about?
here.
So
I'm not,
you
because
saying you can change
you're
a
saying
shipping
stuff to me.
label?
You're saying stuff that is basic to
No,
understand if you understand the game fully. If you understand
let,
it a little bit.
let, let me
You
point
see
let me
what I'm trying
point
to
out
say to you?
something to you. Let me point out something
Go
to
on,
you.
clear it up, clear
There's
it up.
there's a company, there's a printer company in Florida, imports the frame of the printer from China. When it gets here, they put their badge on it and sell it as an American product, right? And it's the frame is aluminum. Trump taxed the aluminum back in 2016 by increasing the tariffs on the aluminum coming into the country. And that same printer, let's look at the smallest model that goes in cop cars that sells for just about $400 to the police officers, is now over $1,000 to police officers. And that's per car. A large frame printer, which sells for what you used to sell for, let's say, $1,800, is now double in cost. Right? Where are they getting the aluminum from? Canada. And let's say, for instance, even batteries. Batteries is ordered in Canada, shipped to China to get developed, and then shipped back to the U.S. Make it make sense. If you have,
It does make sense. It does make sense. It makes sense in that the Democrats wanted to bring in people to come and pick the
let's
strawberries.
not say that Democrats and
One second. Let me make
Republicans.
my point first.
Right.
Let me
Let's
make my point first. It makes sense that the Democrats wanted to bring in people to pick the strawberries because they think Americans are too fucking lazy to do field work. It also makes sense
but
that you
it's
would send
true. No, it is true.
one
Oh,
second, bro.
Lord.
And
Okay.
it also makes sense that you would send things to China where slave labor fucking camps are producing your goods. Like, and then you want to turn around and say that it's the Republicans that are racist. It's hilarious. And I'm not saying you, but
I never,
I'm not
and
saying you.
that's the,
I'm not saying you.
bro, let me say to
I'm
you,
not saying you.
let me cut you
I'm
off a little bit.
clarifying. I'm
I
not
am a
saying you.
Republican. I am
I'm
a
not saying
Republican.
you, bro. I've just said it 5 times. I'm not saying you, right? But I'm saying I'm strawmanning the position of a lot of people
All
who
right.
make similar arguments, right? And I'm saying that because, again, fuck, I hate being cut off. It's interesting. The reason that this happened is probably because of the old school Republicans, right? The old school Republicans that allowed the manufacturing to go off into China, right? It's because they wanted to make fucking
Capitalism.
big profits.
Yeah,
Capitalism, bro.
capitalism. Yeah.
Right? The old school Republicans hate the new school Republicans. They hate MAGA Republicans. A lot of the MAGA Republicans, you forget, are made up of people who used to be on the left. They're not true Republicans, bro. The left has become the party of the rich. The right has become the party of the working man. Everything Trump is doing is to bring back manufacturing jobs back to America, right? The problem that you're pointing out that now things are 10x, 100x is it's the reality, right? Yeah, I take it on you. I take what you're saying is, take your word, right? But it's a problem because the old school Democrats or the old school capitalists, because it's both sides, right? It's a uniparty in place, allowed for this to happen. So Trump is literally correcting a problem that has been instigated by the old school flipping politicians that have existed for the past 20, 30 years. Now, is there going to be some pain? Yes. But is it going to be passed on to the consumer? In some cases. But if you're producing things in your own country, if there are, what is it, that American steel was about to be sold to, what was it, a Japanese company, and Trump stopped that, right? Because he wanted it to remain American. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, how can you have a problem with that? I don't understand. Like, and I say all these things, right? Because again, as an African, I see what's happening in Africa, and I have the exact same view that Trump has for America about African nations, bro. That's why I'm so violently a supporter of his policies, because I get it. I thought deeply about what he's doing, and I understand that if Trump can do it, if the leader of the free world could do it, then we can fucking do that shit. And I want to see black people win. To give you some context to anybody who wants to understand my mentality. And that's it. So I'm not making these arguments from a place of being a sycophant. I'm not a Trump diehard Trump supporter. Trump can hold some flipping fire, bro. Right? He does things that are fucked up. I'm telling you that right now. He does things that are fucked up. I don't like his support of Israel. I don't like how he was using Palestinians as a pejorative. I think those people have been terrorized to thy kingdom come, bro. right? There are many things that he's done that I dislike, right? But there are many good things that he does, and this is the attitude of many. And you're a Republican, right? This is the attitude of many MAGA reporters. We like more things that he's done than the things that we find distasteful, because we understand what he's doing. And sometimes he says things so as to gain a reaction, so as to cover and get you to think one thing when he's doing another thing. And he does that masterfully when he plays the media to get you to believe that he's doing this one thing, and you just take the bait. And I'm not talking about you, I'm talking to the proverbial you. And when you get that, you start to understand this brother is more like people who just play life. Because I see that shit in real life, bro. Like it's all a game, bro. And again, Trump is not the savior of anything, but he could be the savior of America right now. He's beaten the WEF. He played them at their own fucking game, bro. Right?
So you're correct when he says he plays the media. That's how he won 2016. I understand all that concept, but then what he's playing with now is more than just trying to be in the spotlight. He's playing with people's livelihood. He's playing with people's retirement. He's playing with people that are already in retirement. He's playing with their survival right now. Because now you're telling that somebody who is, like Grant said, if you're 60 and over, get back to work. That's what he's telling them. Get back out to work.
No, I get that argument. Their 401k, is it a 401k? Their 401k, right? Will, if they don't, I don't know if you can pull your money out, right? So I remember that statement. If you don't divest from the assets that you have invested in what you've invested in, and you just keep your money there, right? And the market is going to correct itself. It has to. It's the American economy. It's America. It has to.
Correct.
It has to. So any scorn or disdain is kind of it kind of speaks to a lack of imagination, because it's the American economy. The America, like Lewis was saying, is the wealthiest nation. So if the economy crashes, okay, but it's going to fucking rise again. It can't not rise again. So to remove your assets is kind of fucking stupid, because those who are buying a dip, Gen Z, who have got a little bit of money, who are buying a dip, those are going to be the new flipping rich kids. Those are going to be the new millionaires, right? And so I'm just saying, look, I'm gonna leave, because I'm done talking, bro. And I kind of feel that, you know what I mean, I'm not well received.
Okay, understood. And
Yeah, come on, man.
understand you.
I've been trying to get a word in. I can't get a word in, so I'm listening.
Nah, you're good. You can go. You can go after me, man. I'm gonna shut up, bro. But like, I really feel for the people who don't see it and only hate the individual, as opposed to seeing that he's actually trying to help all of you. Because yo, what the fuck? The last two presidents fucked up.
I won't say that. I won't say that, because every president has done good for the country. Every single one, last one of them has done good for the country. For instance, let's go to George Bush. He done good, but then based on one picture taken over, and this is the younger one, one picture taken over Louisiana. That was that hurricane that passed through Louisiana, and that was it. He looked at the media brought him down with that one picture in Air Force One. He looking over the flooded levees. That picture brought him down. Then you move forward to Obama. I didn't even voted for the brother, but at the same time, he did good. A lot of people say, "Oh, he rose the price of health insurance." No, he didn't. I'm a business owner, and I still use the marketplace till today. And I can post my monthly premium for myself, my wife,
But
and 3 kids.
are you speaking? Are you speaking for yourself, or are you speaking because I heard that he did? I was listening to a person the other day say he voted um, for Obama, and he used to pay something like $200-300, and then he had to pay something like 1,400. And so your story is maybe yours, but it may not be that of everybody's. So I don't know if that's. Do you know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I'm a financial advisor, And if you understand how health insurance work, health insurance is based on your income, and you get a subsidy based on your income. That's the ACA, Affordable Care Act. You get a subsidy based on your income. So if you are a business owner and you could write some things off to bring your income in line with the ACA, you get a big tax break based on your income. That's your AGI. So just for FYI to everybody who's online, so if you match your income to the guidelines of the ACA, if you're a business owner, then that means you can get a large, a bigger tax break on your health insurance. Right? If you know the game, you play the game. They make the rules. You work the rules to your favor. Right? So with that, everybody has done good. If you don't understand how to work the rules as Trump is doing, that's on you. It's a choice to play the rules, right? And so every president I can go to have done good. Some of, and yes, they have done bad. I wouldn't agree with everything they have done, but for the most part, they have done good for the country. And if you look back at even Trump, because Trump was a Democrat before he switched over to become a Republican. And with that, he said every Democrat has done better than a Republican when it comes to the economy. And that is still true today. And I rest there.
Awesome.
And what's up with the eggs though, man?
And it's a fact. You could look it up. It's still true today. Because when you have the last 6 years of being the number one oil producer in the world, come on now.
So okay, so the question that I wanted to ask was, so you know, I kind of look at it like this, and I don't care for Trump. I'm gonna tell you straight up, but I look at things like this. The country probably look at it almost the same way. I don't know what Trump has been really successful at, right? And so I look at the country of how all of a sudden I'm seeing the government being, you know, overthrown, like people being fired, and I'm saying to myself, okay, so what is the end goal plan? Okay, maybe you're firing them. I agree. There might be money there that's don't need to be there, and then I hear the statement come out like dead people, something about dead people and the money going to dead people and Social Security. So I asked myself, okay, so where does that money that you collect from that goes to? Because as a working citizen as well as a business owner, I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it. So I'm asking myself, with the history of his success, why would I trust what's going on? Just my point of view.
So okay, let me say this, right? Do you judge the history of his success based on what you've been told is, or do you understand how, to the other brother's point, once you know the rules, you play the game within the rules? For example, people normally make the argument that because he was bankrupt, that he doesn't know what he's doing. And again, like using tariffs, declaring yourself bankrupt is a mean by which to, and then it's smart in a particular business sense, right? And there's a plethora of reasons, right, as to why you might declare yourself bankrupt. But the idea that because he was bankrupt is, and I always find it interesting, is a little bit silly because again, the fact that he's a billionaire now speaks to the idea that even if he failed at life, which
We
most
don't we
successful
don't know
people,
that. We don't know that
one
he's
one
So
one
so
sec,
a billionaire.
let me
We
finish.
can't
The
prove that.
the the most the reason that most people are successful in life, or the most successful people in life, will tell you that they failed, like hundreds of times, like hundreds is a stretch, but a lot of times before they became successful, and we know that because it's like we say to people, it was never an overnight success. It was like a slow curve. You see what I'm going to say? So failure to me is not a signifier, a signal that somebody's a failure. It just means that they failed maybe at this point, or that they've declared themselves bankrupt in this arena so as to be able to pivot to go to approach another thing. So I don't get it, because how do you become a billionaire and the president of the United States if you're a failure? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes,
So
but what you're
can
saying
I?
makes sense. But you have people. This is not about Trump being a billionaire. I'm talking about me as a working citizen as well as a business owner, a part of the country, of paying taxes. How does it benefit, and why would I trust from that failure? You're the leader, right? And your record says that you have failed many times, which I
So let
understand what you're saying. What you're saying as a business owner, a billionaire, but as the American people, how do we trust that
let me answer
from
that
what we're
question for you.
seeing? Yeah.
Let me answer that question for you. It's the fact that it's not we're now moving past the moral standpoint of that person, and we're trusting the position to take us to prosperity, right? Because
Correct.
if you're looking back at to say, hey, show me where, because if, as you say, you're a business owner, business is measured by numbers. Correct me if I'm wrong. And
Yes,
have Trump showed us any numbers that he's successful?
that's my point.
So good.
But what is success? You're measuring success by the amount of wealth that somebody has. Cool.
No,
So
no, no, not by wealth,
No,
not
no,
by
no, no,
wealth,
no,
not by
no.
wealth. Numbers.
what does that mean, numbers?
Your business got to show that you're successful. If you're
But
making
how do you
money,
get
if you
wealthy if you're a business owner? And how do you become
okay,
wealthy?
so let me point something out to you. There's something called, look this up, the rule of 72. Look up the rule of 72, and everybody else who has that look it up right now. Rule of 72, and you're going to put in when you get the definition, we're going to use a hypothetical 9%, just an average 9%. Trump dad left him $413 million. Okay, now rule of 72 says if you get the interest rate divided into 72, it tells you the number of years that money will take to double. Let's use a 9%. So 9 divided into 72 gives you what? 8 years. So that means every 8 years that $413 million is doubling. That's just normal money. But then let's look at real estate. Real estate doubles based on the interest rate of the property. And for the last 20 years, real estate has went up over nearly 400%. Now do the math.
Sure,
If I
but
let
go on.
So everything he touched personally, he failed at. He made a lot of tries at a lot of things and he failed at it. Great. One of the things that made him the face of the is the fact that he knew how to manipulate media. That's what made him the face of the GOP.
So, but okay, if
That's my point right there. Why
yeah, but
would I
that's
trust?
your point. But does it mean
No,
anything? So
No,
because
yes it does. It means a
so
lot.
so
Listen, you can't look.
hold on.
Wait,
Can I
no.
finish the
Let me
point?
say this little. I'm
No,
gonna
no,
let
but
you, because
you haven't heard why I said that.
but
You
you've been
haven't heard why I
talking
said
for
that
hours, bro, for
because
hours, and
nobody else is talking.
I've been
Because you're,
sitting here listening
but
to you, and
now that I
I
want
said
to talk, you're now choosing to talk.
no.
Like I haven't finished my point.
I just wanted to say
Right.
one little
Go.
thing.
Go for it, man.
Oh my God, I forgot it. Go ahead.
After all
You
of
made me
that.
forget it. Yeah, because you made me forget it.
Alright, cool. My fault. So, I was gonna say, I hear what you're saying, but then
okay.
how do you then justify him going bankrupt? You see what I'm gonna say? Like,
No,
if
no, no.
he's
Okay, no.
if
Let me show you
no,
bankrupt. Let me
but
show you bankruptcy. Let me show
one
you
second,
bankruptcy.
one
Hmm.
second, one
Go
second.
ahead.
How do you call an individual who's got that money a failure if he also declared bankruptcy, right?
6 times.
Because that 1 second, I'm making this argument for those who would make the argument that because he was bankrupt, this is the reason why he's a failure. You're saying that because of the money he was left, he's only ever just sat on that money and as a consequence become a billionaire after that. And I'm saying that's cap because of course he's a bit his investments are in what, in real estate. He's known as a what, real estate developer, right? So you're saying that even we got Cindy in here who of course we got our brother Nelson in here that develops properties. You develop properties and you make money off of that property. You're not making the income off of the interest. You're making the money off of the property value. So it's speculative, right? Your level of wealth and your and the income that you're gaining from the hotels that you own globally, right? I get that. That's what I would say, right? And then there are other things that he would have tried, and that's cool. You can try whatever you want to try. You don't call a person a failure because a business didn't
I'm
succeed.
not calling
Because
him a
what the
failure.
fuck?
I'm
What the
not
fuck are you
calling
talking
him a
about?
failure.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to two people, aren't I? There's you and there's the other person.
Yeah, it's me.
And
It's me. It's me.
so
It's me.
it's not the fact that he's a failure. He's tried his hand a lot of times. He fails a lot of times, but then he's using, as I say, I'm going to manipulate the
Right.
media to get coverage so that cause this is the thing about, and you've studied, as you say, psychology, so you know if I'm in front of you and you don't like me, at the end of the day, you're going to like me if you see and hear about me enough. You're going to turn and like me because opposites attract.
That's
And
not.
that's,
And so, okay, so
That's
that's,
my
not
point,
too
I
true.
think I
But
got
I
my
see
thought
what you're
back
trying to
now.
say. I see what you're
I
trying
got
to
my
say.
thought. I got my thought
Because
back
a
now.
lot of people still just don't like Trump, and that so
No,
that doesn't mean true.
no, that's not what I was saying. I was saying, why would I trust as a business or a working citizen this president when he has failed so many times at what he's supposed to be good at? And how can he lead the American people into believing that we're going to be okay if he has failed so many times? The track record, even for any business, you're not going to go in business knowing that this company has failed 6 times or that that company is going to be the leader of something you're a part of.
let me,
That was my point.
one name I'm going to put in front of you. His name is Elon Musk. And he's using Elon Musk's credibility to carry him across the finish line. If
I
anything,
disagree.
if anything fails, it's going to be a blame game. Elon Musk is the one
I,
who's
don't-
to blame.
I disagree because he's not using Elon Musk to do anything special. All Elon Musk is
Really?
doing, no, he's only all
Really?
Elon.
Oh, wow.
Yes, really.
Oh,
Let me
Oh,
really?
wow.
finish, bro. All Elon Musk is doing is the same thing that Nancy Pelosi spoke about, Chuck Schumer spoke about, Obama spoke about.
Correct.
Um,
You're right.
so what is he doing that's special? What credibility does he need to fucking lean upon? There's no leverage. If anything, all Elon Musk is doing is, and the other
It's
billionaires so we got the founder of
I think you're
Airbnb.
missing
Is
the
it?
point. I think
No,
you're
I'm not
missing the
missing the
point.
point. I think you're
The
missing the
point,
point that you're trying to make because you
no,
tried to make a
no.
point and I'm destroying it. What I'm
My
You're
saying is
point
that
was
missing the point.
no,
It's
why
listen,
not
would,
the fact
why
I'm
he
would,
destroying
didn't
the point you're
he
making.
don't
why
need
would
no, he
I?
didn't need Elon to do what Elon is doing. He don't need Elon to do it because it
Uh,
was Elon and Ramaswamy was supposed to be teaming up together
yes.
and they fell out.
No, do you know what happened? You know what happened? They could have fallen out. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I can't
I'm
blame them.
telling you, they fell
But
out because of the
okay, but
policies of which they wanted to implement.
sure. So tell me why you think they fell out. Tell me. You tell me why.
Swami runs a firm that would not come in and drop everybody like flies. And that's what Elon wanted to do, drop everybody like flies. And Ramaswamy said, no, we're not going to drop everybody like flies.
That's true. That is
Humanely.
true. That is why they fell out because he wanted to go about it a longer way and
Exactly.
they were like yeah, but no, I agree with you that way. I agree with you on that 100%. Would you what percentage what what man. So a large majority of people were hired just before Biden left the White House. They were hired as Trump had already won the election. Why would you do that? Because again, it allows you to tell a truth in that Trump is firing people, but you're missing out a lot of the times. These reports are missing out, and I don't know the percentage of people who are fired, who are on probation, but there are a significant amount of people who are getting press, who are hired within. They were hired and they're still on a probationary period. You are under no fucking law if somebody's on probation to keep a person. You're on probation, bro. The second thing as well is he ran on the idea that he was going to cut back the government. Why would the Biden administration, it's kind of the same point I'm making, why would you hire more people if he said he's going to cut it back? Because it allows you to then tell the truth and say, look what he's doing. He's firing people. But again, I'll say it again, you're missing out the point that these people were hired after Biden had already lost the election and they were hired and they're still in the probationary period. Third thing is this, which is the second thing really. A lot of people were offered a care package. Bro, we're going to let you go. We're going to pay you till September. Fuck it, gone till November, bro. And people said no. They were on CNN bitching. A lot of the people saying, oh, you know, this is an outrage. Nigga, you don't have to do no fucking... No, you don't use the N-word there. My bad. You don't have to do any work for months, right? You don't have to show up to do anything for months. Bro, this is in January. September is the 7th month. It's the 9th month of the year. For 9 months. Maybe 8 months. For 8 months. Bro. And people are complaining about that. Come on. So I hear what you're saying. But we have to tell the whole truth if we're going to be speaking up so we can actually understand what's taking place. A lot of the people had the opportunity to, if they wanted, walk away, get paid for 9 months to do nothing, to still go and get another job and have that extra income coming in, and they still chose to bitch. A lot of people were on probation, right? And they still did.
I'm not sure where you're getting your information from. I'm not sure where you're getting the information from, but near what 60-something% accepted it. Yeah, 60-something% accepted the walking. Yeah,
amazing.
Amazing. They say I'll take my package and go. 60-something% of them.
Right.
So I'll take my package and go. So then I'm not sure where you're getting your. There's no problem.
Exactly.
Is the fact
that's
that
the point I'm trying to make.
There's a massive problem. There is such a massive problem.
1 second. I'm still having a conversation with the brother. But that's the point I'm trying to make. If these people are accepting the care package and they understand 60% of the people are accepting it, right? Then those 60% of the people are not the people who are complaining. It's the 40% of the people who are still complaining, right? And they can complain. That's fine. Like, you've got every right to complain. I don't care about all of that. But I'm saying, why wouldn't you join that 60% if you had the opportunity to do, to get paid? Because it's all about money anyway. It's always all about money, right? Why would you not take that that deal? That's a good fucking deal, bro. And a lot of people who are bitching and complaining never took the deal because they thought they were going to become famous on fucking TikTok or whatever. It's like, bro, just get with the program, man. The government's under no obligation to hire you, bro, because you're taking taxpayer money, man. What the fuck are we talking about here, bro? Like, because what it's the maddest thing in the world. It's the maddest thing in the world that people actually argue against smart policies and say that they're dumb. It's like, well, look at Trump's tax record, his record, bro. He added 200,000 jobs to the flipping to your and people were shocked last week and they're like, oh, we never thought it was going to happen. Really, right? In his first term, what was the consensus of a lot of people? Yeah, we had a lot more money. We had a lot more money under Trump. We had a lot more money. I'm not talking about the checks that he cashed out, because it was fucking the Democrats that actually allowed that to pass, right? He put his name on it, right? But I'm talking about when the economy was roaring, right? People had money. I'm listening to people who are Democrats say, I research a lot of shit, bro, because I like to understand. I research a lot of shit, and I listen to both sides, right? I'm listening to Democrats say, you know what, I don't like Trump, but under Trump I had my best flipping years, right? Because we were selling like motherfuckers, right? And I'm like, how do people not hear that and say, then let's let this individual back in? I don't know, man.
I'm not sure where people are saying that they had their best years on the Trump, because
I'm trying to find out too.
because Trump got what he got from Biden, from Obama, and he got a really good.
What was good about Obama's economy? What can you point out that was good?
So Biden had 8 years. Sorry, Trump got what's his name? Obama got 8 years of no. Well, sorry, 7 years of an up market. Economy was coming back from 2008 of a market crash, total market crash,
Big crash. Yeah.
and he got 7 years of a up market, growing the GDP. And when Trump took over 2016, he got the upside of what Obama left off. The upside of it. So as Grant was saying, oh, you don't know. Trump
He
got the
definitely
upside
got an
of Obama.
upside. He got an upside. He inherited a bad economy under Bush. Took him a minute, and by the time Trump came into like the red carpet was laid out for him.
So with that,
you for saying that.
You people can't say that, oh, Obama did bad and then Biden did. No. If you watch the like, for instance, the GDP under Biden was like what 2.6% growth, 2.65, right? And that's an average with pretty much all the other presidents. Trump is like, oh, I'm going to do 4%. No, he pretty much shut the world down. So no, let's see what he does. He collected at where Biden left off at what GDP was like going up at 2.67. Let's see where he pushes it. If he raises it or if he makes it fall. Because history, when we look back at the history books, we're gonna have this conversation again.
And then on top of that, just to jump in, because there was a point I was trying to make here. The package that those people were offered, that's a package. But once that package is done, you're seeing the economy go down the tubes and you're losing your medical. You know, it's not like it is in England or in Canada. There is
Correct.
no medical, right? So people are going to try to hold on to their government job that have great medical, great benefits.
Correct.
Because if you go out there, and especially if you have a family and there's something going on in your family, or you need service, or you're taking care of an elderly, or you got children, you got dependents, you can't just take that money and just go, because you don't know what the hell is going on right now, because you got the kid in the China bowl. And the second point I wanted to make is that, as I said before, Trump may have good ideas, but there's something that when you work for any organization, if there's a new process that comes into place, they have something that's called change management. And that entails looking at all aspects of the business, the impact that that change will have on one minute thing. There's departments dedicated to that. Trump is running a country where there's constituents, there's families. He made promises to those families. Those promises you got to take seriously, because that's what you got voted into office. And he's breaking those promises by acting irresponsibly. And sure, you got to take a risk, but at what cost? At the cost of the well being of your citizens, of your constituents, of everybody that's, fought for your country and served your country, whether it be in a government facility or helped out for what, manufacturing jobs that are barely going to basically cover the cost of living when the manufactories are made 5 years from now. This makes no sense whatsoever. Trump, as far as I'm concerned, has no change management skills whatsoever. So he can think of what he wants to basically do and just go through and try to shake the markets up. But what is he coming back to if the infrastructure can't sustain itself? And with that, I land.
No, I get your point. I just disagree again. It's this idea that the people are entitled to jobs. Like, and I get it. It's shit fucking reality, but it's the reality of the situation. If a company says we're downsizing because we're not making profits, you can protest as much as you like, but that company is gonna fucking fire you, bro, and that's it. So working for the government is the same thing. If the government decides that it's going to fire you because it's going to downsize, you're going to get fired, bro. That's it. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Because people need medical and all this shit. The government doesn't look. You're talking about 300 million people, possibly 400. Nobody knows the number, right? People having to pay an extortionate amount of money to fund a government that doesn't even work properly, versus cutting the fat, trimming the fat, getting rid of the people who are not necessary, so that you can streamline everything and it can function better. And it's like, well, if you can do that, then people don't have to pay as much taxes. So in the long run, you're actually helping people out. If you're bringing more manufacturing back to the country, you're helping people out. If America starts producing its own stuff and selling and keeping the money in its own community, you're helping people out. This idea that he doesn't know what he's doing is kind of asinine because it's kind of basic what he's doing. He's not doing anything special. It's just basic business management. If your company is bleeding money, you trim the fat, you let people go. Sorry, thanks for working here, but you got to go. I'm under no obligation to keep you hired if the purpose of me running the company is to, of course, turn a profit or to function properly, and that's it. So I get it. It's shit. It is shit for those people, and I feel bad for those people. I know some of those people. Okay. I know some of those people that work for the thing, and I've had a conversation with them, and they changed my mind a little bit, and I was like, yeah, it is actually shit, right? But
in
I
the
get it.
meantime,
I get it. Like you need it's like if you run a big company, say you run a big company, your first 2 years you turn a profit, say 25%, right, and it's going up 25%, and then for 2 years, another 5 years you start to lose, and you're not making your fucking money. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna keep everybody there because you're a good person, or you're gonna fucking realize that your wife and kids are never gonna have a fucking home, pot to piss in. You're gonna have to fire people, bro. And that's what it is. America was losing money by having to subsidize, like by with your trade deficits with other countries. America was losing money because China steals all the fucking IP, reproduces the own. Like, who does China like? What are you talking about, bro? China literally takes American intellectual property, builds a factory next door, and then just reproduces all of the stuff that they produce for Americans, and then send it to their own people at a fraction of the cost. And America can't even fucking export to. And it's like you're taking the position of China, where China is literally taking the piss out of you, and you don't see that. You're Canadian, right? So it's even worse, right? Isn't it Justin? Isn't it your new premier was saying that the problem actually isn't America, it's actually China, because he gets it, right? Isn't it not your premier that's saying that we're going to take off all of the tariffs that because you've got, what is it, like a high extortionate amount, a percentage of tariffs that you put on American goods? Like, what are we talking about?
I haven't seen that news basically come down, and I get your points about China.
Come on, man.
I'm not going to disagree with your points with China, but what I'm saying is you cannot go in around in the market and break off every single relationship that you have at a snap of a finger, because there's a domino effect and your supply chain is too integrated with what you've got going on. So you've got to maintain your infrastructure first of all and look at the change aspect of it, as opposed to saying, you know what, let me flicker off the switch and let everybody basically go dark and y'all will figure it out. That's just not the way to go, brother.
No,
That's just not.
I get it. I get
And
your
that's what I
concern, and
was saying. Why would I trust that
I
as
think it's
a
good, but I think that
factual
you forget that
statement?
America has the leverage because America are the people who buy all of the shit. So if America has if they're getting fleeced, if somebody's in their house and they're stealing their stuff, you're probably going to give them a slap. You're not going to say, let's call in the change management team so we can debate this. It's going to be like, get the fuck out of my house, bro. What are you talking about? Right, like,
It's not a
that's what's
debate.
happening.
It's actually planning. He had 4 years
Sure,
to
but
plan.
so you're
That's
gonna
what he was going to basically do, right?
I get it. I get it.
There's
So
no
again,
plan. There's no execution. It's just, hey, let's just go flicker off some light switches. And in the meantime, people can't, and you know what? I love what is that freaking show? Man, that UK show. Anyways, I forgot. But there's the food, right? You got to. People have to basically eat. They have to have money. You got to basically make sure that things are good. So the way that he's doing it is very, very disruptive, and I don't think that it's going to end up really well. I just don't see it, because how many balls are you going to juggle at once before it starts stumbling? You only have three. This guy's juggling a gazillion. He's shutting stuff down over here, closing off relationships there, dependencies, whatever, so on and so forth. People are basically pissed off. You've got to be more
it's mad
strategic
that
than
you're
that.
saying.
It's
It's
like
mad,
taking a chessboard. No, but listen, it's like
I've
playing
heard
chess.
enough.
It's like playing chess and actually knocking over all of the pieces as opposed to being strategic. And there's no strategy.
Yeah, but that's just because you don't understand. The second thing as well
Because when
is
you fail, you don't. That's the way you go about things.
sure.
You get your feet wet and see how it works. You map out your show by jumping in and seeing what happens. Will you drown? Will you sink? It's all a game. Nothing is planned. That's
Okay,
the fact.
but your mate, you're strawman and bullshit, bruv. Like
No,
they've got a
that's
plan.
facts.
They've got
That's
a okay, all right. They've got a plan.
how
The
is there
plan
a plan?
that
How is
okay.
there a plan?
I've
You
explained
tell
it to you
me.
many. I've explained it to you. I'm gonna finish my point, and
All
if
right, go ahead.
if we got time, then we'll go
Go
back to
ahead.
what you don't understand, right? So what I'm saying to you is, it's it's not it's not that Trump is the bully if America's being picked on and their lunch money is being taken every day. I don't understand how you don't understand that. Trump is literally responding to how America has been taken advantage of. That is the first thing you need to understand. That is it. Number
Well,
two,
first, that's incorrect.
the fact that these other countries have been taking the piss out of America might give you an inclination as to the idea that they need the American market in order to make money. So this idea that he's destroying relationships. Well, if you destroy a relationship because you say to somebody you're taking the piss, I don't think what you're doing is fair, and that person says I'm never going to speak to you again. That person was never your friend in the first place. But if that person comes back to you and says, you know what, I'm sorry, like Canada did, right? Like
When did we
Vietnam, I
say we
think it
were
is.
sorry? When did we
Excuse
say we
me.
were sorry?
Excellent. So
Metaphorically,
I
my
don't know
brother,
where this
we'll take off
information
the
comes from.
tariffs. By
That never came
removing
out of our mouths.
by removing the tariffs, you're saying sorry, bro. Like what are you
No,
talking
we've got
about?
elbows up over here.
Okay, mate. Good. You're a tough man, right? But the point I'm making is if you remove the tariffs or you have some sort of some sort of fair trading, right, between between your country and America, now you're in effect saying, you know what, you're right. We were taking the piss. Let's play fair. The fact that you can't see it is worrying because it's not about America. It's not about loving the man. It's not about loving the country. It's like the hatred for the man, right? And it's like that's the problem. You don't have to
Okay.
love Trump to be
So
pro
so
America.
so
You
if
see what I'm
20
gonna say?
people
To be
tell
pro
if
what
20 if
works for your country, bro.